Did I stutter?
He has time, launches it to the end zone. Touchdown! Terrence Williams!
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
The 2011 winner of the Heisman Trophy is Robert Griffin III, RG3!
Welcome to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Langoliers, base hit to center, and the Baylor Bears win their first Big 12 tournament championship.
Their fat little girlfriends are telling them what they want to hear, which is how great you are.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Yep, just ready for OU.
You can't handle the truth.
Here's Drake Toll.
Welcome to Up Tempo. Happy Thursday, everybody. How about it? Baylor men's basketball game day today. Back in the WAC, the fifth. Count it. I got 5 fingers. I'm going to do it all right here for you. The fifth home basketball game this season in the Farrell Center in Big 12 play. Absurd. Unheard of. And they're already Big 12 champions.
That's a lot of away games. Let's just say that. That is a lot of away games. And Armstrong was talking about before. Is like they have gone through the gauntlet. Like this Big 12 championship during the regular season was not for the faint of heart the way they got it done. No. Also, are we going to see a lot of starters tonight? I want to talk about that, Drake. Are we going to see a lot of guys playing that usually play in the starting 5, or are we going to see Jared Butler for 10 minutes and kick him up?
I mean, I don't know. We had a ton to get into today. This is where you want to go ahead and start in the meat of our conversation.
I mean, you don't have to give me
a Stephen A. and a Max Kellerman. You know, we can just start it right now. We can just start. I don't want the starters to play. You know what? I'll say it.
I was looking for an appetizer.
Before we get into it too much, I will say I want Baylor to play like Baylor has played when it comes to starters and pretty much in general. I am on the bandwagon of if Zach Loveday gets more than 5 minutes tonight in a game that's close, I will rip my heart out and eat it. I know. It's gruesome. It's gruesome. 254-339-1122. Impact Health Labs caller line. Again, 254-339-1122. Tattoo it somewhere. I've got it if I lift my hair up, it's right here, but I don't want to put you guys through that. And also the YouTube comments, the Twitter comments, you can send us today's question today. Score prediction tonight and who is going to be the leading scorer for Baylor. I've got Baylor 100-69 against Oklahoma State. Leading scorer tonight, give me Jared Butler with 69 points individually.
I don't think you're going to be alone in that score prediction. I feel like we have one other person who calls in fairly frequently. And that's kind of his go-to score, and hasn't hit yet. But I think tonight's the night. I don't see an over/under 148. You like that? You like the over?
Yep. Yeah, I do. I do like the over. I like to flip and hammer that out. That's a low over/under compared to like Oklahoma State likes to score. Baylor's going to let them score with them. They're going to go back and forth in this game. Did you see last night Baylor volleyball? Tough stuff. Baylor volleyball at home. We're going to recap more of that earlier and hear from Coach Ryan McGuire later on in the show. But a tough loss last night at number 2 Texas. Fell in the first 2 sets, close sets. Third set, Baylor comes out guns a-blazing. They win the third set. They send it to 4. Fourth set, Baylor's up 4-0. They're rolling. Texas comes back, takes the lead late. They win it. Baylor couldn't make history. That's their kryptonite. Yeah. UT in Austin is their kryptonite. They are the UT in Austin in volleyball is the equivalent to any team playing UT football in week 2. Just a juggernaut. Just impossible to win.
Yeah, and you feel bad for them that it was on the road. Because if that's at the Farrell, maybe a different story. You know what I mean? It's too bad the circumstances lent themselves to a game like that. But they'll be all right. They'll bounce back.
Also, yesterday, the women's golf team, men's golf team. Men's golf in the Cabo Collegiate in San Antonio. And women's golf in Columbia, South Carolina, and the Gamecock Intercollegiate. Again, they had the Sean Bonner. They had the flipping Maui Invitational. The Maui Invitational was in Asheville, North. No, for men's basketball. Men's basketball.
This year. Okay.
Yeah. This year's Maui Invitational was in Asheville, North Carolina, like the land of the trees. Like it's 48 degrees in Asheville, North Carolina. There's just like coal mines and smoke.
They couldn't change the name. They couldn't change the name for one year for licensing.
The court in the middle of the court said Maui Invitational, and like the side of the court where the court's named, it's like Asheville, North Carolina. I'm not the best geography major, but women's golf, men's golf though. Women's golf finished at 11th place in the Gamecock Intercollegiate, the number 1 team in the country. They're supposed to win everything. They ended up falling at the Gamecock Intercollegiate, which is tough. It's going to happen. You win some, you lose some. Sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry. And
Dude, he's dropping tonight.
Really? New album coming out?
I think he's got like a pack. I'm thinking like 1 or 2 songs, but yeah. So that's gonna be good. That's gonna be good. But yeah, sorry, to your point. How does that work in golf? Like, I'm honestly a little bit naive to.
Well, the low score wins.
But I mean, in terms of like, if you're supposed to be dominant, right? Like Alabama's gonna Alabama every single football game. But in golf, like, is it not uncommon for the number 1 team to drop a match or 2?
Yeah, you're not supposed, like, they've won like 5 straight matches. Number 1 Baylor finished in front of number 16 Arkansas, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Furman, Florida, and A&M. Like, Florida was the second worst team there, and they're number 15 team in the country. But you're going to hit poorly from time to time. You had Duke won it at even. Then number 5, Wake Forest. Number 2, South Carolina. Number 4, LSU. 11, Auburn. 32, Vanderbilt. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Georgia, Alabama. I mean, there's some good competition ahead of you. You're not going to win every tournament. There's no way you can do that. But the winner of this tournament gets some solid bragging rights. The number 22 team in the country won it, on top of number 5, number 2, number 4, number 11. So, I mean, it happens in golf. The men's golf team and the Cabo Collegiate in San Antonio.
Yeah, was this supposed to be in Cabo?
Yeah. It was going to be in Cabo. And then that little silly pandemic hit, and they did not do it in Cabo anymore. So we have men's golf finished 11th too.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Number 27 men's golf finished ahead of number 23 Houston, ahead of Cal, number 30 Stanford. Beat some good teams. Yeah. There was. I
was going to say, like you mentioned, golf being a sport that I would think is a little less consistent than like your jump shot, right? Like if you're, I mean, you just have bad days playing golf, I'm assuming, right? Not your jump shot. Your jump shot is silky smooth, but I'm saying for the average bear, not an average Baylor bear, but.
Oh, man. So not your BU different. But yeah, so men's golf, so you asked about the women and the volatility of the sport of golf. On the men's side, they were 11. So Baylor men were number 11. The number 10 team at the Cabo Collegiate in San Antonio was Arizona, who's number 1 in the country, and they shot 25 shots over. So, yes, like you can be number 1 and not play very well in a tournament. And so, I mean, golf's volatile, man. Like you can get in the national tournament and just somebody obscure. It's like baseball. Coastal Carolina won an NCAA championship in baseball in the modern era. Yeah, did you see that?
I didn't see that. That's impressive, though. Good for them.
It's been a couple years.
Good for them. I mean, probably because they thought they were going to be in Cabo. I would probably mess with my game too, no matter what sport we're playing. If I think I'm going to be in Cabo and you take me to San Antonio, guys, what are we doing?
All right, I'm not liking that.
What are we doing here? Take me to Florida, where there's a beach.
There's an old war story where there are 2 war stories. One, my parents were going on it was this couple's like 10th anniversary, I think. 10th anniversary. And so the husband was going to surprise his wife with a trip to Branson, Missouri, right? Which I don't know if you've ever been to Branson, Missouri.
I have.
But it's a small, it's a neat little metropolis. But like, am I frozen?
No, you're good. You're chilling.
But if you go to Branson, Missouri, like it's a neat little metropolis, but it's your 10th anniversary, Yeah. Okay. What is your idea of an ideal 10th anniversry?
Oh, wow. I guess to have a 10th anniversary would be where I would start. I'd want to get there. I aspire to have one of those one day in my life, but I'm thinking something tropical. Maybe it's adventurous if you've done the tropical thing for the first like 9 anniversaries. Yeah. I think maybe you make it special. Branson, Missouri isn't really like, it depends on what you're in. If you're into bluegrass music and cool roller coasters and lakes and like old people.
Lake Taneycomo. I like old people and I like lakes and I play the banjo. So yes, for me, maybe that's the ideal 10th anniversary.
Oh, I didn't play the banjo. So.
I do play the banjo. I'm an aficionado, if you will. Equestrian's back this weekend, moot point. But so he's going to surprise her with a trip to Branson, the 10th anniversary. They get to Branson. No, I don't remember what happened. But in some roundabout way, he surprises her with, instead of going to Branson, they flew to New York.
Oh, that's cool.
And not only did they fly to New York, they flew all their friends out to New York, and they all, like 6 or 8 of them, got to spend a weekend at New York together. Also, my mom got a new job, so she can't watch the show live anymore, meaning she can't text me and tell me what actually happened in this story, so I'm very much paraphrasing. But imagine, like, you're getting prepared for your 10th anniversary, you're going to Branson, you roll up there, you're in the Big Apple.
That's pretty cool. Like, I think you probably... to some degree, you're like kind of preparing yourself for Branson. So you probably looked up all the fun stuff to do in Branson. You're excited to go to Silver Dollar City. You're excited to, like you said, go fishing on the lake. Like all these
are
things.
You that excited? You're like, oh, it's our 10th anniversary, and we're going to Branson.
But then you see Times Square, and you're like, all right, this is better than Branson, probably.
Mama, we ain't in Branson anymore.
Take a bite out of the Big Apple.
Oh, baby.
Now they call it the Windy City.
I feel like if you flipped it on the other way around, where it's like, yeah, honey, we're going to New York for our 10th anniversary, and you roll up, and you're just on the Branson Strip. Just like, oh, wrong turn. Happy anniversary.
You may not have an 11th anniversary.
You might not.
That might be the last one.
That would probably cause
Sin City, Branson. That's what they call it.
That would be a bit of a stink. Yeah, they do call it Sin City.
Yeah.
Huge casinos there.
Yeah, because of Branson, Sin City.
You ever been to the Riverwalk down there? We are giving the city of Branson free plug all day today.
We need to get some sponsors in Branson.
I did not know you had been there. I have been to Silver Dollar City 32 times in my life.
You're lying. $32?
32 times. $32. Silver dollars, actually.
That's
32 silver dollars.
I did not know that. What's the connection to Branson for you? Is it near Valonia?
It's like 3 hours away, 2.5, 3 hours away. I play the banjo, so really my heart and soul are in Branson, Missouri. So our family goes every year. My little brother just loves Branson. Infatuation. We go twice a year.
Hey, Drake,
awesome.
Drake, do you play the banjo? I can't tell.
It's weird. Is somebody talking? It was really muffled. Is that coming? Was that Armstrong?
I'm going to stay out of this. one. I think he was asking if you played any instruments. But,
oh, yeah, I play the banjo. I'll bring it in sometime, and I'll play it for you guys in studio if you'd like that.
I would love that, actually.
Yeah. Awesome. It's like a mandolin, but bigger. Like a guitar, but shaped differently.
And more masculine.
Strings. Far more masculine.
I would say so.
I would agree.
I actually love that you've been to Branson, though. Or that you, more than Ben, you have a percentage of the, you're freaking silver dollar banker.
Dr. Pepper 10. It's not for women. The banjo. It's not for women. It is a masculine. It is a masculine instrument. Just wanted to throw that out there for those who are questioning. The banjo is a masculine instrument.
I'm not questioning that. I'm with you. I would love to learn.
Not for women.
Yeah. I can teach you Dr. Pepper 10, not for I'm in a sociology class because, I have to do school. And my sociology class, we are going over gender roles in the United States right now. And one of the case studies in this is Dr. Pepper 10. It's not for women.
Wow.
Legendary.
Yeah.
What are they saying? Like, what do they teach on that? Do they take a side?
Good ad.
Well, they take a side. We're watching commercials and all the commercials are like, you can stick to your woman drinks and your like girly stuff. We're men. We like Dr. Pepper with 10 calories. Like, what? Yeah.
Hey, that works on me. I don't know. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
I actually bought quite a few shares in Dr. Pepper 10. Just kidding.
Not in Dr. Pepper. Just Dr. Pepper 10 solely.
Pepper 10.
Yeah, specifically.
It's actually tanking.
I'm on a big Diet Coke kick right now.
Really?
You know what? It tastes a lot like Bang. I think it's the, what's that sugar substitute called?
Splenda?
Aspartame. Okay, that's in gum, too.
Aspartame. Yep.
Interesting.
I'm sorry. Was that Armstrong? Was he talking again?
No, I wouldn't dare.
We're playing Go for 3 today. How about it? That's going to be fun. I'm excited for that. Or 3 ball or take 3 or you've got 3. We'll figure out the name of that at some point in time in up tempo. Also, we're going to be visited by very special guests at 12:05 and 1:30 today, or 12:05 and 12:30 today to break down men's and women's basketball, mostly men's. Oklahoma State game tonight. And then how about at 1 o'clock, we're going to do a volleyball baseball recap over their weeks. Then 1:30, Andrew Robertson joins.
Yep.
We're going to do a little SicEm Pick'em action, in-depth SicEm Pick'em. I would like to win money this week.
Yeah, man. It's been, I haven't really been keeping track of where you and I are going to. I had a horrific weekend. I think it was the last weekend or the weekend before. And it might have been the knockout blow for yours truly. Or
really?
Just to reset, sometimes you just need to, like, I think it was Big Joe was saying, sometimes you just got to, like, saddle up, pay your guy, pay your Monopoly guy, and just go again. And I'm sort of at that point.
Sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry. I did too.
No, I'm so excited for that tonight. I'm really excited for that.
Well, you'll have to send it to me when it drops.
Absolutely.
Okay. Question of the day. We can get into it now. Before we get into that, I want to know what your prediction is for tonight's game in general. How do you think tonight's game is going to go?
Yeah, I'm really interested to see if there's any Big 12 championship hangover, right? Like after they had that most theatrical win you probably could have had to win a Big 12 tournament in a COVID or Big 12 championship during the regular season in a COVID year. Like, do you let your guys sort of breathe a little bit? Because I feel like that was just exhausting. They got back, like all these things. So I anticipate this being a little closer than the 12 that Vegas is giving Baylor. I think it'll
12?
be. Dude, they're
giving Baylor 12?
Baylor's minus 12. Sorry, I shouldn't say giving. They are asking Baylor to cover 12. Which is a lot. Feels like a lot to me. Armstrong and I are both like, I don't know that they'd do that tonight.
Yeah.
I anticipate a lot of young guys to get some time, or maybe older guys that haven't played quite as much. So I think it does go over. I think you probably go 79 to, let's say, 70. 79-70 feels like a fair score to me. I think it just goes over, so you got 149 to cover the 148 over.
That seems super fair.
I think it's close. I think it's close in terms of the over. But, yeah, I think Baylor trades blows, especially in the first half, pull away in the second half. I think that, some guys step up. Maybe they put starters back in late in the second half to get the win. But I think Cade Cunningham will give them problems.
Oklahoma State's winners of 5 straight. Okay, here's what I see in this one. You know what's tough for me? I think Baylor goes back to being Baylor. They're going to be down at halftime by 3 or 4. I think that's going to be the hangover. You talk about the hangover. I don't know if that'll be as prevalent as just the fact that Oklahoma State is a great first half team. I think that's going to shine through in tonight's game. And I also, give me Oklahoma State like 38 to 34 at halftime. Cade Cunningham maybe puts up 16 in the first half, looking really good. Baylor's got to find a way to shut him down in the second half. And then what I want to see is Baylor go on one of those characteristic runs where you get 10 minutes deep in the second half, the game's still tied, and you're like, shoot, I'm kind of nervous. And then Baylor goes on a 15-4 run, and you're like, oh, I'm less nervous now. I think Oklahoma State comes back to keep it tight. But I think you're probably spot on in your score range. I like a Baylor 82, Oklahoma State 75. I like somewhere right in there. It's like the over hits by a little bit more tonight.
Sure.
When I'm looking at this matchup on ESPN, so the over would have hit against Oklahoma. That was a 79-75 ball game. Their first game that went to overtime, kind of the same scenario, except both teams were in the 80s in that one. They went to overtime against Texas Tech. So they've had 2 out of the last 3 have gone to overtime. Now, games in which Oklahoma State is not hitting the over are games in which they're putting up substantial amounts of points, and their opponents, Iowa State, Kansas State, a team like that, are not doing the same. So Baylor can score. Baylor at home against Iowa State in their first game back, 77-72. I mean, that would have hit the over tonight.
Yeah.
So I think for sure I'm really, really confident in the Baylor over. Look at Baylor at Texas, Baylor against Auburn. Over machine this season, aside from that Kansas game on the road, which was expected. I think the over hits without a doubt. I think 82-75 is a pretty good score range tonight, too. And the fans, we're opening up to the fans. 254-339-1122. Definitely shoot us a text. 254-339-1122 of your score prediction for tonight's game. Casey Candle says, excited, anxious to see how we handle Cade Cunningham tonight. What do you make of that? You think Mark Vidal's going out there and covering him all night?
I think Mark Vidal and Davion Mitchell, we prefaced this, I think, last time when Cade Cunningham didn't play. I think Davion Mitchell and Mark Vidal will both take turns, not each possession, but when whoever's in the ballgame, I think they'll give them a little bit of both. But I think that's the biggest thing that I want to see tonight is how does Baylor combat a great score, right? Like we saw Mac McClung from Texas Tech hang 24 on them. Baylor still won the game, but Mac McClung gave him fits. And so when Cade Cunningham, who's he is a better player than Mac McClung, how is Baylor gonna handle that? Because we're gonna see that in the tournament when you face great scores, like guys that can really put the ball in the bucket, guys that can really give you a problem, you can play great defense, but they just make shots. Like it's not a matter of how you address it. It's just can you live with them being the only source of offense. And so I want to see Baylor, if Cade Cunningham does have the 20 that he's averaging right now, I want to see Baylor shut off the water everywhere else in the Oklahoma State offense. So I think Cade Cunningham is going to have his night. I think he's going to be just fine. He's going to come out and score a lot of points like he always does. And I think that's really going to be the biggest thing for Baylor is how do you combat everybody else? You're going to have to live with Cade Cunningham giving you 20 tonight.
When you look in order of their last 5 games, starting from Kansas State, moving to the 2 OU games, Cade Cunningham, 15, 21, 20, 40 at number 7 Oklahoma, and then 15 points in a game at home at Oklahoma State and won. They're 5-0 in those last 5. Is Cade Cunningham, could he make a case? Could he be the Big 12 Player of the Year?
Wow, that's a great question. I think he'll be the number 1 pick in the NBA draft like we talked about a few weeks ago. I don't know that he's played enough games to be the Big 12 Player of the Year. I think Jared Butler. Also, I'm interested to see how much they're giving them when it.
I mean, he's played in 21, and Jared Butler's played in probably 21.
Okay. Well, I think when it comes down to I'm interested to see how much they give to team performance, right? Like, if it comes down to Baylor and Oklahoma State and who's done better, obviously it's going to be Jared Butler. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wonder how they're going to treat that. I think he's missed some timely games, like him not playing against Baylor the first time. I do think will hurt him because you didn't get to see him on that big a stage at home. If they could have beat Baylor at home, Cade Cunningham has a huge game. I think that really propels his campaign. I don't know that makes the difference, but I think it propels his campaign and puts him in the conversation earlier, which I think it just is too little too late if you're Cade Cunningham.
I mean, too little too late? Kid's averaging 19 and a half, 6.3 rebounds, 3.5 assists, shooting 45% this season. Cade Cunningham is nuts. I want to know, Cade. I could easily make a case for Cade Cunningham being the Big 12 Player of the Year. I think it does typically go to the best player on the best team, but he's shooting 42% from deep, 85% of the free throw line, 6 rebounds a game, 3.5 assists per game, a block, a steal and a half. Jeez, man. Yeah, it's his turnover. His turnover numbers are high, 4 turnovers a game. But when you take Cade Cunningham, who is Oklahoma State's best player, and without a doubt, first team All Big 12, newcomer of the year, freshman of the year, what have you. Yeah. Jared Butler on the other side of that, 17 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, 5 assists per game, and he's shooting at 48%. That clip is better than Cade Cunningham's, but, man, I don't know. Cade Cunningham's got a legitimate case here. Butler's shooting 1.5% better on from behind the arc. 13% worse, though, at the free throw line, and 2.2 steals per game, 2.7 turnovers per game, so much better assist-to-turnover ratio. But I don't know, man. Cade Cunningham's really good at basketball. I think he's going to be a difference maker tonight.
No, he's definitely going to get his tonight. Like, let's not make any bones about it. He's going to get after it tonight. He's going to give Baylor 20. I don't know if that I realized that he played in 21 games, and maybe that's just my own ignorance, but also didn't really feel like he'd played in that many games for whatever reason for me. I mean, didn't feel like he had made his presence felt at least earlier in the season. I mean, I know they had a COVID outbreak, and just in terms of big games, I don't, for whatever reason, again, could be my own ignorance, I don't recall him showing up huge in some of these games. And maybe I don't follow Oklahoma State closely enough, but Jared Butler, when it came time to have big games, I think he did a good job showing out on the national stage. Like his big game against Kansas in the second half, the way he pushed it against West Virginia and obviously fouled out but still had 25 was the reason they win that game. So I think in terms of timely performances, Jared Butler really helped himself on a national level. We'll get
I was really in the same boat as you. When I was seeing Cade Cunningham early in the season, I was like, this is the number 1 player in the draft? Like, this is who people are really hyped over? I didn't really see it. And someone tweeted the other day, and they were like, oh, Cade Cunningham's overrated. I don't see anything in Cade Cunningham that I'm really that, upset or, that enamored over. Mind you, this is the same Oklahoma State team that lost at home against TCU and on the road against TCU. They've been volatile at points. They're clicking at all cylinders now, though. But Cade Cunningham, what I didn't realize, listen to this, 13, 18, 29, 10, 17, 25, 13, 25, 5 against Kansas State in a game they won, 18, 21, 19, 19, 26, 15, 21, 20, 40, 15.
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham, that's his scoring totals this season. He's put up consistent stats. He is the most athletic player in the Big 12. He's the most dangerous player in the Big 12. And I think tonight he's going to showcase that. I think Baylor still wins, but Cade Cunningham is going to make this a game, maybe single-handedly if he has to. My question now becomes, who on Baylor is going to guard him and who is going to guard him well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you went over his point totals first and foremost. I didn't realize he had 40 against Oklahoma. And also, I think that you speak to that, and it's like, well, if you take away that 40-point game, what is he averaging? Probably a little more close to what Jared Butler's doing with 16.5 points. But and to answer your question, I think it's really going to give him problems having Davion Mitchell and Mark Vital at different spurts. I mean, Mark Vital, obviously a really physical defender, has really great lateral movement. Davion Mitchell a little bit quicker, but is sort of going to give him more trouble on the perimeter. And so I think having to account for both those guys, because, I mean, as a whole, when you have the ball, when you're trying to get into a rhythm, like basketball is very much a game of runs, right? So for Cade Cunningham to not be able to get used to any one defender, I think that's really going to be the difference maker for Baylor, because you can give him two different flavors of defense. And so it's going to be hard for him to really settle into a rhythm, and he's going to have to adjust his game time and again, depending on who's guarding him. So I hope that Baylor goes with that strategy. And if I had to pick one defender, I think Mark Vital, just because of how thick he is, like, for lack of a better term, for the strength and just the beef and grit of Mark Vital, I think is going to do some things for Baylor tonight. And I mean, honestly, anytime you get hit, you got to respond. And Mark Vital's gonna hit him. I mean, hit is maybe a strong word, but he's gonna play physical with him, and that's gonna really, I think, let us see what kind of player Cade Cunningham is when he gets pressed like that.
Armstrong, what do you think? You think Mark Vital's got Cade Cunningham locked down?
I do. I think locked down, maybe not locked down. I mean, I could see Cade Cunningham dropping 20.
Yeah.
But locked down enough to keep him, in check, and then the rest of the team will handle, Well, I mean, Baylor can handle the rest of Oklahoma State easy. If you keep Cade Cunningham to 20, I think you got a dub.
I think if Cade Cunningham scores 25, are you worried?
No.
Not
No.
really.
I expect him to get 25.
Really?
He'll get his 20-25. I think I'm trying to look at who the next highest scorer is for Oklahoma State, because I think the next highest. I think there's a significant drop off after Cade Cunningham. Like, so we saw Oklahoma State without Cade Cunningham, and they were, what was it, like 20 points less, or what did Baylor beat them by, like 20 or something like that?
Yeah, not 20, but it was a pretty substantial margin.
Like 20, yeah.
OSU was up at halftime. Baylor won by double digits. Cade Cunningham's got 20 points per game, basically. Past that, Caleb Boone has 10 points per game. Rondell Walker, 9. Bryce Williams, 8. Avery Anderson, III, 10. So if you take the starting lineup, that's 18, 10, 28, 37. Cade Cunningham has basically 40% of the starting offense. Scoring wise, out of starters, Cade Cunningham is really, that's their anchor. And if you bring that back, if Baylor beats them, which Baylor did, Baylor beat them by like what, 15, I think, maybe we'll say it was 15. So I don't have it in front of me.
81-66. So 15 exactly.
Okay. Oh, sweet. And you replace that 15 with Cade Cunningham having 17, 18 even tonight. I think it's a different ball game. Oklahoma State came out firing. They were hot. Yeah. Now they're on the road. Flipping Baylor fans, man. I can't tell you how many times I've been frustrated with students or fans or whoever you want to be frustrated with when folks don't show up to basketball games. I don't get it.
Yeah. I
don't get it. And I don't care if we're playing Southern or UTEP, Alcorn State, Delaware. I don't care. That or Kansas. I think it's so disappointing. Last year, Kansas game. You lose to them at home in College game day, right?
Right.
Next game, Tuesday night game, maybe a Monday or Tuesday night game against Kansas State, who was the worst team in the Big 12. I could have counted the number of people on my hands that were in the Farrell Center. No restrictions. It was not a COVID year at that point. Yeah. And there were maybe 2,000 people there compared to the 11,000. Like, if you're going to go out and support them against Kansas, go out and support them against Oklahoma State or Kansas State or TCU. And I want the energy level tonight. Yes, it's Thursday. It's a weeknight. It's not a top 10 matchup, a top 5 matchup. But crap, man. That's a full Big 12 championship team. If tonight's not sold out to the best that Baylor fans can do it, there's a problem. There is a legitimate problem.
Yeah. And Thursday, I mean, college weekend start on Thursday anyway. Like, people that have class on Friday, like people have class maybe like what, in the 1 in the morning, or maybe there's 1 in the afternoon, but you're not having a lot to do the next Friday. And it's still a Big 12 game. Like, I understand that there's not a whole lot of appeal when you're playing UTEP or when you're playing, some other non-conference game with a group of 5 school. But when you got Oklahoma State with the number 1 draft pick in the NBA draft this upcoming year coming to town, your Big 12 champs, you probably have 2 more chances to see Jared Butler, to see Mark Vidal, to see Maceo Teague, to see Davion Mitchell. I mean, it's not like it's not exciting games. You have 2 first-round picks on your roster. Like, go watch this game if you're a Baylor student. You can get in for free, right? I mean, if you're a Baylor student, you're in free, aren't you?
Yeah.
Go to the game. You'll never be able to do it again in your life and see 3 first-round draft picks on the same court. You got 2 more chances to watch 2 first-round draft picks from your school. Go watch these guys. I'm with you, Drake. We got to get some attendance here. That being said, I won't be there.
Armstrong's a basketball guy. He's been around North Carolina, which is one of those programs that folks show up no matter if the doors are open. Armstrong, am I wrong in saying that folks show up?
You're not wrong.
How big is that stadium?
It's one of the biggest. I'd have to look it up. It's real big. It's real big.
Like 19.5, isn't it?
Hold on.
Because Duke gets a lot of credit for Cameron Indoor, and it's like, okay,
6,000.
Cameron Indoor is like a nice high school gym. Which, I mean, they're nuts. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think they'd sell it out anyway.
It's 21,750.
Oh gosh,
that's bigger than Madison Square. That is bigger than Madison Square Garden.
I think it's
wow.
It's the second largest on campus, right behind Syracuse or something like that.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, the Carrier Dome holds like what 44.
Yeah, something like that.
And like 10 people show up to the games.
Carrier Dome is pretty cool, but Dean Dome is interesting because the way the seating is done, they really give a lot of, the alumni and the big donors are right court side.
Michael Jordan.
And sometimes they are given the nickname the wine and cheese crowd.
That's funny.
Because they kind of just sit there and just clap, unless it's the Duke game, and then you're standing the whole game. But most of the time they just sit there. But then if you look behind them, then you got the actual rowdy fans.
Yeah.
And the students are basically on the court. But I mean, I've been in Cameron Indoor Stadium, not when there was a game. I've been in there. You can just walk in in a normal, like when there's not a game. You can literally just walk in and walk on the court. And so I did that. And I mean, just imagining fans. I mean, you stand there. It feels like the stands are falling on top of you when you're standing on the court with no fans. I mean, was trying to imagine like fans being there screaming, especially for the North Carolina game.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be the most intimidating thing in the world. I mean, Cameron Indoor is one of the coolest stadiums I've ever been in.
Well, do we know how big the new stadium's going to be for Baylor? So I would argue the Farrell's too big.
75.
I think it's going to be modeled after Cameron Indoor. If you look at the way.
It should be. Like
the map of it, if the pictures of it, it's kind of that same idea of super steep and super high, right? So when you're on the stadium, it's like all you can see is stands, and it feels like they're falling on top of you. I think it's kind of modeled after that.
Interesting.
Not a bad seat in the house.
Not a bad seat in the house. Where
you as a fan, too, on row 45, feel like you're courtside because it's all right there on top of each other.
Yeah.
But my point that I was getting into with that, Armstrong, the North Carolina tangent we just went on.
So sorry.
My point in that was when you coming to Baylor as a student and coming to these basketball games, have you not been disappointed when you walk into a top 20 matchup and you're like, where are the homies at?
Yeah, super disappointed. I mean, yeah, Baylor, and I'm not trying to, just rag on the students, but Baylor students, it's sad. It is sad the way you don't support your team. I mean, and like I don't remember, was it my freshman year when we had the number 1 team in the nation also? And it was just like you would show up and it looked like no one cared.
Is that because of the Farrell? Because the Farrell's huge. So you draw a pretty good crowd to the Farrell and be like, how many people are here? You know what I mean? Like, is that at all in part due to the Farrell Center just being so wacky?
No, but because it'd be like half full, not even.
Really?
Right, and the Farrell's not huge. Armstrong came from North Carolina. No.
Farrell's pretty big.
No.
Compared to Cameron Indoor.
Yeah, there's
10,000.
10,000? Okay. That's pretty big.
No.
10,000 people at a basketball game?
That's not big.
That's not
the whole student population is 15,000.
Now,
for it to look full, you have to have like 2/3 of your student population there.
Now, part of the problem here, and I'll say it, part of the problem for non-students is that you live in Austin, Houston, Dallas, so a weeknight game is kind of hard to justify unless it's a really big game, making that trip, right? So I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Students, you live like 2 minutes away from the game. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing that you can't go to this game?
I would bet the attendance for football games are somewhat similar from a student population for Baylor basketball games. But you just get more non-Waco. You just get more non-Wacoans. You get more Wacoans probably. Probably so.
No way.
You don't think so?
No way.
Say that again. Repeat that. Sorry, I was reading.
You say it again.
I truly think that it is comparable. The number of students that go to football games versus the number of students that go to basketball games.
No.
You don't think that's true?
Not even.
You have way less
not
Wacoans.
Even close.
Do you have facts to back that up?
Yes.
Show me the Carfax.
So wait. JD, roughly for the bigger football game, think about running the line, the prospect of running the line.
That's true.
You have
That's very true.
2,000 freshmen run the line, and there haven't been 2,000 students at a Baylor basketball game since the Kansas game last year.
Yeah, no way.
You don't think so?
One in history. No, that is. I can't back it up yet, but I can text David K, and David K can probably back that up. Let me give you. I'm going to pop out some schools here, and I want you to tell me what they all have in common.
Okay.
Fresno State, New Mexico, Cleveland State, Louisiana Lafayette, Dayton, New Mexico State, San Diego State, Providence, UTEP. What do those have in common?
Based on our topic, I'm going to say they all sell out.
They have arenas that are 2,000 seats or bigger than the Farrell Center.
Interesting. Okay.
Wow.
Those
the
are all,
Farrell Center.
To be fair, Fresno State, Dayton, a lot of the schools, San Diego State are all like basketball schools. So like
Oral
same
Roberts,
as Baylor.
Weber State, Ball State, Middle Tennessee, Nevada.
Here, you want me to tell you something about the difference in feel between Baylor basketball games and North Carolina basketball games. North Carolina basketball feels like an event, right?
Okay. Yeah.
In kind of the way a Baylor football game feels like an event, right? You schedule, you block that time out. We're going to get there an hour early.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to, tailgate, which North Carolina basketball doesn't have but you show up an hour early, you know the people, you sit around, it's all this, it feels like an event. Even like we'd go to like UNC versus UNC Asheville, and it's still there is a decent sized crowd here, and we're here an hour early, and there are people here, and there's traditions of like 30 minutes before the game starts, the Carolina team like does this little warm up thing and everyone cheers.
Oh, I bet it's sick.
30 minutes before the game.
Yeah.
And, Baylor basketball, let's roll in with after tip-off, right?
Right.
It's just a different feel.
Drake, going back to that list, it has 2,000 more or less than the Farrell?
More.
2,000 more, yeah.
So let me give you this. 85 in the country. Arkansas State, Convocation Center. Then Georgia, Wichita State, Tennessee State, South Florida, Wright State, Baylor, in succeeding order. Baylor. Right behind Wright State, the Nutter Center, no, I'm not gonna make that joke. Wright State, then Baylor.
And that was in terms of like stadium size,
arena capacity. Baylor is number 91 in the nation. The Farrell Center is puny. You
did name Baylor, Georgia and Wichita State though are both pretty like sizable schools in terms of
Wichita State's in the Missouri Valley.
Wichita State's got good basketball though. They like their basketball. Wichita State.
They do, but that was built in 1955.
Like their basketball, Wichita, baby.
That's why it's bigger than the Farrell. It's built in 55. I don't know if they're a basketball school then. And then Georgia doesn't really care about basketball. Georgia, that's puny for an SEC school. I'm with Armstrong here. I think a lot of this falls on the students.
No, I'm with you.
Why are Baylor students not just barking up every tree to go watch every basketball game?
I think some of that has to do with like the fact that you're in the state of Texas. Like North Carolina football hasn't been good in a long time. And so for years, you're going to North Carolina. And for Georgia, same thing. Like maybe their stadium's smaller because all they care about is Georgia football. And in the state of Texas, you care about football. I know Baylor's a basketball school, but
you're absolutely right.
Traditionally,
you are so right.
And also, it's a weekend. Like I get that North Carolina during the week you're going to UNC Asheville, but
you're absolutely right. It is for some reason. People just love football just way more.
Yeah.
And I feel like some of it, honestly, is I'm in Texas, therefore football is better. Even if I don't actually believe that myself, and even if I don't actually care about football more, it's just the culture, and so I do it.
It's more of an event that way too, yeah.
It's an event. Baylor football is an event. You show up an hour early, and the pageantry and the band and everything. Baylor basketball game, I admit, I walk in with about 6 minutes left before tip-off.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Me too.
Because if you don't, then you're just sitting there twiddling your thumb.
What is happening? Yeah, what is happening before that? That's also a fair
That's a
point.
good question. What is happening before
There's
that?
things.
Did you know?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you know the Bear Pit used to be on the floor too? And by used to, I mean like 6 or 7 years ago, maybe.
That's cool.
Yeah, but that was an interesting thing because you know how the Bear Pit, like there's part of it that is actual, Farrell Center, and then there's part of it that's like a bleacher type thing, right?
Yeah.
So the bleacher part was actually lowered to the floor, but then the student section behind it was still, at its normal height. And so there was this disconnect. And so like the really hardcore fans would go down to the floor, but then everyone above them just didn't care and would sit down the whole game.
Interesting.
And so the Bear Pit was actually raised so that it's kind of one continuous student section. So then the energy of the people in front would then motivate the people in the back. That was the idea.
Interesting.
It's still trash location for students.
The Bear Pit. Okay, it's trash. I concur. It's not great. It's not great.
It's recycles.
It's not good.
Recyclable.
But man, just the inconsistency. I think it is. It's students. Maybe it's because Baylor is a tier 1 research university. Maybe it's because they're worried about their academics. They can't take a weekday. Can't take time off on a weekday. Makes sense.
I think some of it has to do with buzz. Like we talked about football being like a sport, like an event, right? And there's like any event you go to, there's like a buzz around it, right? Outside the stadium on a Saturday afternoon, you can hear the band, you hear the PA announcer. If you're outside of a basketball stadium, it's a parking lot.
Yeah, what's happening?
What's bringing me in? So, all a lot to consider as we move forward as a basketball school for the time being. For the
what a tangent we've gone on. If you're in Waco, if you're near anything, go get a ticket. Go to the game tonight. Support the Baylor men's basketball team, Big 12 champions, regular season. You only get one shot to do it.
Check what they're going for.
What?
I'm going to check what they're going for tonight.
Oh, with the lowest price tickets. ESPN should have it pretty tight.
Tickets are $86.
Oh,
that's a pretty penny.
Not bad. That's not bad.
It's not good.
COVID year, Baylor alumni. If you're a Baylor fan, spot up. Grab you a ticket. Spot up, grab you a ticket. All my homies will be at the Baylor game tonight.
And it'll all be over, too. You make it back.
Yeah, Baylor's got a 92.5% chance to win tonight against Oklahoma State at home, and Cade Cunningham and company. When we come back from this break, we've got Jim Boeheim doing what Jim Boeheim does, and we're going to take a look at that and give our thoughts because it's funny to me. It's actually kind of comical. But I'm Drake Toll, as J.D. Pickell, Armstrong sends. When we come back, Jim Boeheim, Take 3, SicEm Pick'em, all the little fun stuff you love. We'll be right back. Going up tempo.
Happy Thursday, Baylor Nation, and what a Thursday it is as we unapologetically remind you that both the Baylor men's and women's basketball teams are Big 12 champions. Across college hoops last night, number 10 Villanova took care of number 14 Creighton at home, 72-60. Number 11 Florida State hammered Boston College, 93-64. Syracuse aided their tournament resume with a 64-54 win over Clemson, and Missouri upset Florida on the road, 72-70. On the women's side, number 10 Indiana and number 20 West Virginia avoided upsets with wins over Iowa and Kansas State, respectively. And Creighton's men's basketball coach has offered to resign from the program after controversial comments recently, while the SEC has announced that the league will allow 20% capacity, or 3,400 fans, for the conference tournament. In volleyball, number 6 Baylor battled back from down 2-0 to number 2 Texas last night to force a fourth set, but lost the lead late and eventually fell in Austin 3-1. Yassiana Presley finished with 13 kills, Lauren Harrison added 16, and Marika Vandermark finished with 12 and 5 blocks. In golf, Baylor men finished 11th at the Cabo Collegiate, with the women finishing 11th as well at the Gamecock Intercollegiate. And number 3 Baylor men's basketball hits the court again tonight against number 17 Oklahoma State in the Farrell Center for just their 5th home conference game. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio. Here's Drake Toll.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. I am Drake Toll. That is J.D. Pickell. Armstrong Sims is in the void today. It is Jersey Thursday, otherwise known as Jersey Thursday, otherwise known as Jersey Day. Some countries it's Thursday. In Guam, it's Jersey Day. JD and Armstrong did not follow suit.
Armstrong's got his hockey.
I brought
Team
my
USA hockey.
I brought
jersey.
my hockey jersey in. I actually.
I feel underdressed. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel a bit naked.
Oh, mama, don't you cry.
Here, this is completely off topic, but since we're a bachelorette show, bachelorette program, one of my teammates from Cornell sent me a text. He said, "I just got invited to be on the Bachelorette. Got an interview today with the producer."
What?
Oh, wow.
So maybe seeing him, maybe not. I don't know.
Hey,
but I thought that was prevalent or relevant.
That is
it's prevalent and relevant.
Let's see if we can do it today.
Relevant.
Relevant.
No,
like
that's
the
movie.
Like the movie.
No, that's the movie with DiCaprio.
No, that's Revenant.
No. Insert. I can't get the segue going.
I know. I was trying to think of other words that had N in it. I was like,
Revenant.
No, that's what the.
No,
that's how you heat your house.
Relevant.
No, that's what when you get married, you're making a
covenant.
Yeah. Oh, no, thanks for saying it.
That's
a
when,
stretch.
That's when you have a bad decision and they say, okay, go ahead and revel in it.
Oh, wow. That's where we're going to. No, it's the Ole Miss mascot. No, it's the Baylor. No.
Ole Miss mascot?
It's a rebel. That's
good.
Stretch.
It's good.
The A&M mascot, Reveille.
To be fair, this is a tough word to start with.
Yeah,
true. Y'all. This is tough.
Yeah, you did not give us a lot of wiggle room here. Not a lot of wiggle room at all.
I didn't tee it up. Did not. I did not tee it up. Contrary to the PGA Tour being on right now.
Okay. Today we got the SicEm Pick'em. And, okay, this from Jim Boeheim. Armstrong, do you have this video?
I do, yes.
Oh, spectacular. Let's roll it.
Yeah. Our next question is from but if I played Jesse and Kadari, we'd probably be 22-2 now. I just didn't see that. And I couldn't figure that out by myself. After 45 years, I need a reporter to figure that out who's never played basketball and is 5'2". Stephanie, with your question. Yeah.
Spectacular. Unbelievable. Okay.
That's so Jim Boeheim.
What? Coach K, when Coach K did his little thing where it was like, oh, hey, you suck, man. That's a student reporter. This guy, I follow the reporter on Twitter that actually he was going after. That's funny to me. That is pretty funny.
That's just such a low blow. Like, these coaches are getting pretty bold on these Zoom interviews. Like, they must feel really comfortable knowing that everybody else that is interviewing them is behind a screen. Like, they must feel really good about that. It was such a calculated blow too. It wasn't like, oh, you're just a reporter, you don't know about, basketball. It's like, you're 5'2". Is he actually? Is he really 5'2"? Do we know?
No, there's no way he's 5'2".
Because either way, that's a guy's insecurity. Like, he feels insecure about his height regardless. Yeah. If he's being compared to 5'2". And so now
irregardless,
that was just like that wound is just gaping now. Like, it was already probably like a little bit tender, but Jim Boeheim just like stuck the knife in and twisted it.
Tender. Hardly know her.
That's what you got from that?
I thought it was funny.
It's such a. Sorry, go ahead.
Am I wrong for thinking it's funny?
Dude, I think that's like you're Jim Boeheim and the guy's a student reporter. Like,
it's no, he's not a student reporter.
What was he? He's a reporter.
He's just a regular reporter, yeah.
Okay, so he's a reporter, and you're Jim Boeheim. Like, do you really have to go out of your way to make this guy feel less than? Like, I guess I don't know exactly what he said. I know he said you should be playing these two players and you'll be, So maybe like to start, probably like a dumb comment. And I get that Jim Boeheim saying, okay, I literally have been, coaching for 45 years. I'm Jim Boeheim. Like, I know what I'm doing. But like, do you have to go out? Like, just be the bigger man. Just be the bigger person. Be Jim Boeheim. Just be a good guy. Be likable. I think it's pretty soft by Jim Boeheim. You let a reporter get under your skin and you're Jim Boeheim. Like, just be better.
He hit a guy with his car.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did hit a guy with his car.
You have no room to talk. You have zero room to talk when you hit a guy with your car.
Dude, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of pivots I could make off that comment. I'm going to make none of them and just say, yeah, that's just a very interesting fact about Jim Boeheim, and I think a lot of people forget about that.
And he got away with it. And he got away with it, too.
He got away.
He got away.
Good thing, too. You were this close to losing your job.
Knuckles! Thunderhead, 1985.
Any topic in the world we can somehow bring back to incredible.
Was Jim Boeheim, was he ever on the hot seat?
It's a skill.
Like, was he ever on the hot seat for the way that went down?
When he hit a guy with his car?
Yeah, like, I feel like that's probably grounds for
automatic
termination.
Hot seat. They were like, you missed the NCAA tournament 2 years in a row. You hit a guy with your car.
Dude, don't you think that's like probably grounds for at least review of termination?
If you walk out the door, of up-tempo today and you're driving down the road and then some guy jumps in front of your vehicle and runs over him, do you think we're going to review your contract?
1, I don't know if it was that straightforward. 2, I don't know if I have a contract. 3, yeah, I'm for sure like under some sort of probation suspension. I don't think I'd be on up-tempo the next day. They'd be like, hey, just optically, this is not a good look for us.
Yeah, so he hit a man, killed him.
Is it okay we're talking about this?
I don't know.
Home from a game.
I don't know. It feels a sensitive topic, but it's also reality.
Yes.
This actually happened.
Yes.
Yep.
And he killed a man, and then like he was like, I'm going to take some time off, missed like 2 games, and was back.
Dude, we went from Jim Boeheim dogging a reporter to Jim Boeheim manslaughter.
I mean, how could you have... you can't have a conversation about Jim Boeheim anymore without bringing up the fact he did kill a man.
He did.
And it's because his basketball numbers are so underwhelming the last few years, too.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to sit here and be like, yeah, if that happened to, like, Huggy Bear, it'd be like, man, wow.
If it was Huggy Bear, I'd be like, he did it on purpose. Like, he did. That was premeditated. Huggy Bear looks like he's just ready to hurt some people.
He's going hard on it. There are games today in the basketball world. Boo boo pew pew. Sick 'em pick 'em time. What say you
bring it
on this day?
Dude, how about Dayton minus 3.5 in the second round of the Atlantic 10 Championship?
The Atlantic 10 Championship,
that's
this week?
30. Dude, that is today.
No.
The second round of it is, not the whole thing, but the second round. You get the whole seed, but you only need the edge. And I tell you what, the edge will tell you Dayton minus 3.5 against Rhode Island. I think that's a lock. I like the Flyers in this one. I'm rolling with them. Radford minus 2.5. I like Radford. I have no idea how they're doing against the spread, but the Fighting Marty Smith, I love picking Radford every single time. I'll pick Radford on this show, and I have no idea how they did in the next day. I have no idea what I'm picking Radford. I like Radford a lot.
Wow. So you're locking in Radford
I'm locking
today.
in Radford, and I'm locking in Dayton. And
Where's UMass?
Massachusetts.
Thank you. I'm looking at shot quality right now because that's how I make my bets now.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. I should probably do that.
And he doesn't have UMass on here. Radford. Oh, you're going with Radford?
Going with
against
Radford.
Campbell? Campbell's great against the spread.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out if they're great against the spread today.
St. Joseph's in Massachusetts today. What's it to you? 4 straight wins for St. Joseph's, but Massachusetts has lost 2 straight. This is a big game in the whatever tournament they're playing in.
I was going to say St. Joseph's. I thought St. John's, and I was like, wait, no. It's his brother. His brother
No.
Joseph.
Joseph, the saint.
The colorful coat.
Peace be with you. God be still. No, I think I got those backwards. Peace be with God. Peace be still. One of those. I like Oklahoma State plus 17. I like Dayton minus 3.5. I think it's a good pick.
Wait,
it's a very
Oklahoma
good pick.
State plus 17?
Plus 12.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Bradley plus 2 against Southern Illinois. Easy money. East Carolina plus 3.5 against Central Florida. Oh, I bet that in my sleep. Massachusetts minus 3 today against St. Joseph. Please. McNeese State plus 6. Put my house on it. Kennesaw State plus 17.5. One of my favorites out there today. Florida Atlantic minus 6. Florida Gulf Coast plus 5. Oklahoma minus 2. Oklahoma minus 2 is a pretty good pick, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say that's an interesting one.
Yeah, I like the old Sooners tonight.
Even after they're fumbled the bag against Kansas State?
Yeah, I think it's time. It's about time Oklahoma State comes back. Yeah, they're at home. Portland State plus 2. Bella Marine. Bella Marine tonight. The Fighting Bella Marines minus 10.
I think it's
Fighting Bella Marines.
No, I like Bella Marine. That was my ex-girlfriend's name.
Like Telmarine. The Telmarines from Narnia.
That's the
Chronicles of Narnia.
That's the
goes underwater.
the mermaid movie.
No, it's the thing that goes underwater. The German movie.
The mermaid, Aquamarine.
Oh, I like TCU plus 13 too because
that's the water. That's the water bottle brand.
That was good. That was good.
How about Iowa? Minus 17.5 at home against Nebraska. Do we like that?
Doing it? No.
Do we like that?
That's a no bet.
Right? That seems like a lot of points. But Iowa's at home and Nebraska sucks. Do we roll with them? Do we roll with Luka Garza and friends? I say no. I say Nebraska plus 17.5. Yeah, seriously, I couldn't name another player on that team besides Luka Garza.
Me neither.
I don't even think Luka Garza can name another player on that team besides himself. I think he just doesn't even pass to any. He just Luka ball score, get back on defense.
What is he, an idiot?
Yeah.
Is he incompetent? Luka ball score. That's what Luka Garza sounds like.
The conversation was Luka Garza has no idea who else is on his team, and neither do we. Like it's it's the Fighting Luka Garzas. There's no Iowa Hawkeyes. Anywhere.
I can tell that we are gonna be friends. You ever heard that song?
That's a good song. That's a Napoleon Dynamite.
In the air. Yeah, it's the opening song of Napoleon Dynamite.
It's a great song.
I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
Take 3.
Give me Colorado minus 10 tonight too at home against Arizona State.
We're doing take 3. I'm just trying to find some stuff. You want Colorado?
I want Colorado minus 10 at home at the Brib, baby.
I'll give you Colorado.
At the Brib. Boulder. We ain't never getting older. Dun, dun, dun. Dude, Weber State minus 10.
What conference is UMass in?
They are, I want to
10?
say, no, I think in football, I think they're Conference USA. No, hang on.
Fall is here.
UMass.
In the air.
If I had to bet, I would say Conference USA, but let me fact check.
Who were we talking about?
UMass? No, wait.
No, they're not.
What are they?
I don't know. I don't think they're Conference USA.
We're gonna. If I had to guess, I don't know. I'm gonna guess.
They're Atlantic.
They're Atlantic.
They're Atlantic.
Give me
They're Atlantic. We're gonna sprinkle some money on them today.
Atlantic 10, yeah.
They're Atlantic 10 in what are they in football?
Independent?
They must be. Yeah. Okay. They're because they just became FBS.
Take 3 today. We're running low on time. Number 1 in the take 3, Jack Daniels, the whiskey namesake, was on the U.S. national baseball team during World War II since there was a shortage of players. JD, true or false?
False.
False.
Across his long tenured NFL career through 92 games, Doug Flutie never threw 2 interceptions in the same game.
Wow. That's a great one.
Yeah, I'll give it true.
So meaning he never threw 2, but he could have thrown 3.
No.
So he never threw more than 1.
Right.
I'm gonna say false.
That's hard to do.
He's played a long time.
It's hard to do.
Played a long time.
He did start 66 games.
I'm gonna say false.
Michael Phelps holds the record for the longest golf putt ever made on camera.
No. False.
Okay.
I'm gonna say
JD?
false because I would have seen the video. I feel like the video would be out there. Like people would have said every time the tour came around, they'd be like, "Reminder: Michael Phelps has the longest putt." Like here's the video. I'm gonna say false.
A man in Mississippi was briefly imprisoned for sorcery in 1884 after throwing a curveball at a county fair.
I go false. I'm sorry. But it could be real. Because that's how stupid it is.
Based on last week, I'm trying to think of Drake's strategy right now, and so many of these, I'm like, are they just all false? Because some of these sound crazy. All right, I'm gonna change number 1 to true. So Jack Daniels was on the national baseball team. I'm gonna say that the curveball question is false.
Okay.
No way, Jack Daniels.
In the mid-90s, Wisconsin volleyball's 6'5" outside hitter Kennedy Sauer became the only Division I athlete to win 4 consecutive National Player of the Year awards, which still stands, and she still holds 11 NCAA volleyball records.
True.
I'll say true.
4 National Player of the Years, and then former NBA player Eric Money played and scored for 2 teams in the same game in the NBA.
Eric Money. I'm gonna go true because
you can do a basket.
I'm gonna go true.
No, he like in the jersey of the other team too.
Did Jackie Moon do that? No, he was.
How is that even possible? But I'm gonna go true.
Okay. JD.
I'm gonna say. I guess I'll go true.
I went true because I already used up all my falses.
I was going to say the same, but I want to change another answer, but I can't keep doing that. I'll say true.
Jack Daniels, a whiskey namesake on the U.S. national baseball team during World War II since there was a shortage, made that up out of thin air.
Dang it.
So false.
Good.
Across his long tenured NFL career through 92 games, Doug Flutie only threw 2 interceptions in the same game. Never. False. Thin air.
Michael Phelps is going to be true.
No way.
Michael Phelps does hold the record for the longest golf putt ever made on camera. The video's out there. 53 yards.
Wow.
159-foot putt.
That's the width
still
of a football
holds the
field.
record.
That's impressive. Yeah. Why is that? Why have I never seen that?
Longest made putt ever on camera. It's out. The video's out there. Adventure's out there. A man in Mississippi briefly imprisoned for sorcery in 1884 after throwing a curveball at the county fair is true. Okay. That happened.
That's funny.
Sent him to prison for throwing a curveball.
Imagine being there. Imagine being the batter being like, hey, hey.
Mid-90s, Wisconsin volleyball 6'5" outside hitter Kennedy Sauer became the only Division I athlete to win 4 National Player of the Year awards. Still stands. She holds 11 records. Kennedy Sauer is in the Wisconsin Volleyball Hall of Fame, but all I did was Google a Wisconsin volleyball player, and the rest of it's made up.
Dang it.
That was false. And then last but not least, former NBA player Eric Money did play and score for 2 teams in the same game. In 1978 November, the Nets coach Kevin Lawfrey had 3 technicals in a game, right, in the second half of a game. And the NBA came out and they're like, you can't do that. That was illegal. So they made the 2 teams replay their game, the start of the game. They made them replay the second half of the game a couple of months later. Well, by the time they played that game, Eric Money had been traded to the other team.
No way.
Yep.
Drake, hats off to you. This was a tremendous take 3 today. This was a really good take 3.
This was a good one.
He was in the stat book for both of those.
You nailed this.
Stat book for both of those. All right, I'm Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell, Armstrong Sims. When we come back, we're going to have a very special guest on to talk a little bit of Oklahoma State Baylor basketball. We'll be right back. This is Up Tempo.
Happy Thursday, Baylor Nation, and what a Thursday it is as we unapologetically remind you that both the Baylor men's and women's basketball teams are Big 12 champions. Across college hoops last night, number 10 Villanova took care of number 14 Creighton at home, 72-60. Number 11 Florida State hammered Boston College, 93-64. Syracuse aided their tournament resume with a 64-54 win over Clemson, and Missouri upset Florida on the road, 72-70. On the women's side, number 10 Indiana and number 20 West Virginia avoided upsets with wins over Iowa and Kansas State, respectively. And Creighton's men's basketball coach has offered to resign from the program after controversial comments recently, while the SEC has announced that the league will allow 20% capacity, or 3,400 fans, for the conference tournament. In volleyball, number 6 Baylor battled back from down 2-0 to number 2 Texas last night to force a fourth set, but lost the lead late and eventually fell in Austin 3-1. Yaciana Presley finished with 13 kills, Lauren Harrison added 16, and Marika Vandermark finished with 12 and 5 blocks. In golf, Baylor men finished 11th at the Cabo Collegiate, with the women finishing 11th as well at the Gamecock Intercollegiate. And number 3 Baylor men's basketball hits the court again tonight against number 17 Oklahoma State in the Farrell Center for just their 5th home conference game. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Engel with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like instant issue debit cards free at all of our banking centers, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Waco Custom Marketplace is your home for holiday favorites for parties and the time with family. Various specials available in-store and online. A variety of steak gift boxes with 4 ribeyes for $70, 4 bacon wrap fillets for $55, or 4 New York strips for $50, and all come with steak butter. Fall snack box for watching a game or wrapping presents or hosting people at your house, including summer sausage, split horn, and jalapeno cheese, and salted crackers for only $35. 2 pieces of lobster tails with herb butter and 2 bacon wrap fillets for $60. Order online or call in advance to ensure availability, or drop by Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. Waco Custom Marketplace has a full-service butcher shop for customized orders or cuts of your favorite steaks or beef tenderloin or specially ordered prime rib roast. Plus, what you want with pork, poultry, seafood, and more. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio. Here's Drake Toll.
Welcome back into Up Tempo. Happy Thursday, everybody. Oh, it's game day. Baylor men's basketball game day today. We're breaking things down. Farrell Center tonight, 6 p.m. on ESPN. Baylor and Oklahoma State. Breaking news, Mike Holder, the athletic director at Oklahoma State, who had served in that position for the last 15 years, has retired. 16 years, has retired today, and there will be a new AD stepping into action for Oklahoma State and the Cowboy athletic program. But I tell you what, before we break all of that down, we've got recap of Baylor women's volleyball last night. I tell you what, well, there's Marshall. Marshall's just joined us. Marshall, you good to go? We ready to rock?
Ready as I'll ever be at a time like this.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we'll throw it around. I tell you what, we're joined by Marshall Scott now, Oklahoma State beat writer, talking OSU basketball, men's basketball between Baylor and the Cowboys tonight. Marshall, before we even get there, huge news today. Just now, you find out Mike Holder is retiring from his position as athletic director.
Yeah, it's kind of been a long time coming in a way. Chad Weiberg, who's set to take over on July 1st, was named deputy AD a few years ago, so he was kind of the AD in waiting. But still, anytime an athletic director who was there for 16 years announces a retirement, it's kind of shocking.
Unbelievable. And again, Marshall Scott with Pistol Guys here joining us today to talk Baylor men's basketball against Oklahoma State tonight. What does this mean for the athletic department at Oklahoma State? We'll start there. I mean, your immediate reaction to this happening, was it all expected, or is there a lot that's going to kind of be thrown for a loop with this?
No, I think it was all expected. Like I said, they had the AD in waiting kind of for Weiberg for a while now. So I think they're trying to make this as smooth a transition as possible. But Mike Holder was so instrumental in a lot of things. Boone Pickens Stadium's renovation, he was part of that $165 million donation from Boone Pickens. And then not even just football, but they have a Sherman Smith Training Center, the Michael and Ann Greenwood Tennis Center, the Neil Patterson Stadium, the soccer center, and they just opened O'Brate Stadium for the baseball team. So he's really turned Oklahoma State into a nationally relevant athletic department. So really big news just for Oklahoma State in general.
Yeah, kind of on top of that, what is the legacy that Mike Holder will leave at Oklahoma State as the athletic director?
Yeah, I think the big thing will be Boone Pickens Stadium, because that's just, football is king around here. So that'll be the big thing, and him being the athletic director, getting Boone Pickens to donate what I believe at the time might still be the largest single donation to an athletic department. I think that'll be the big thing. But then, like I said, all of those stadiums around, all state of the art, all multi-million-dollar facilities, all came under Mike Holder.
Well, Marshall, I'm sure you are a bit thrown for a loop today with this news breaking and covering that with Pistol Guys. I got to ask you, what does some of the coverage look like for you guys today on that end?
So we're getting up our newser now. I'll probably go in through and kind of all of the millions that were donated for these facilities and kind of what OSU looked like before Holder versus now after Holder. Still kind of fresh at the mind, still kind of going through some things.
Well, thanks for joining the show nonetheless today. I know if we got the news that Mack Rhodes was stepping down, which would be much more unexpected, but it would definitely throw us for an it would be nuts. So glad you guys have a contingency plan, though, and it's not there won't be too many waves through the athletic department in a negative way with this decision. But looking to tonight's game, the last time we talked, Marshall, it was Baylor and Oklahoma State in Waco, January 23rd. OSU was coming off of a win against Kansas in Stillwater. And there were still a lot of questions about this team, about kind of where their ceiling was and how good they were going to be in conference play. And since that loss to Baylor, they've only dropped 2 games in conference, and they've now won 5 straight. Is this the hottest team in the Big 12 right now?
You could really make the argument for that. The Texas Tech win was kind of expected because they beat Texas Tech. Then the 2 back-to-back games with Oklahoma, Bedlam games, really high emotions. And they hadn't played each other this year, which is unique for it being this late in the season, 2 Big 12 teams. So the fact that they were able to win both of those games, not knowing, how exactly the matchup would go, I think that this team it's a really young team. It's really starting to kind of gel at, the perfect time for Mike Boynton.
Mike Boynton, That's my next question. I mean, I know there were some questions around him when he was hired. He's a younger guy, but he's got that tenacity and that fire. He reminds me a lot. You know, I grew up watching Mike Anderson at Arkansas or watching old clips of Nolan Richardson in those days. And Mike Boynton reminds me a lot of just that gritty guy that you want to, you know, play a round of 18 with at the same time. What has it been like, his progression as the coach at Oklahoma State? Is this everything that fans could have asked for?
Absolutely. Whenever he was hired, you know, it was more of like a who. Like it was kind of one of those things that he was hired off Brad Underwood's staff, who only stayed a year in Stillwater before going to Illinois. So his hiring was quite the shock, but he's turned it into something beautiful. You know, he's kind of had to gain trust throughout the way. Obviously, getting a Cade Cunningham is a big deal like that. But yeah, he, you know, depending on how this next stretch goes, he's going to have a lot of people coming after him. He's he earns the least amount of money in the Big 12. Among coaches, so that'll be a discussion for new athletic director Chad Weiberg. So yeah, Mike Boynton has been far beyond what anybody could have asked when he first got hired at Oklahoma State.
I want to know, too, with Cade Cunningham, his progression this season, we were talking about it early on in the show. He really, game 1, 21 points. Game 2, 20 points. You know, since then, he's been on an absolute tear this season, put up some unbelievable numbers. If it wasn't for, I think, Baylor's success, he would be, I think, the front runner for Big 12 Player of the Year. You know, that would be a legitimate conversation. I still have him right there in that conversation with a guy like Jared Butler. But Cade Cunningham's progression, you see with a lot of these guys, look at Ben Simmons at LSU or Michael Porter Jr., where you're like, oh, well, you know, they're the preseason projected number 1 pick in the draft. They just didn't really pan out in college like they should have. Cade Cunningham's not that guy. He's been unbelievable this season. Was that expected for this program?
Yeah, I think so. I think that Mike Boynton kind of had those expectations. You know, a lot of times whenever a projected number 1 pick doesn't pick a blue blood, they're like, oh, okay, but if he gets injured or if anything happens, he's probably just going to sit the rest of the year. And that hasn't happened. He missed the first Baylor game, obviously, COVID protocols. And, you know, there were little parts of the fan base that were like, oh, he's quitting on his team. He's not going to come back. And he's right back. He scored 40 points on Saturday against Oklahoma. So, yeah, he's really become a fan favorite. And, you know, he's not like a lot of those number 1 picks in that he's kind of a gritty guy as well. You know, he'll dive on the floor for a loose ball against OU, draft stock, you know, up in the air. So that's all been really interesting as far as how well he's kind of fit in with Mike Boynton and his culture. You don't see that a whole lot with those, you know, top tier guys.
You know, looking up and down the schedule, too, the game at TCU, a 3-point loss coming off of that Arkansas win, a big win against the University of Arkansas. Then the win against Texas at home in double overtime was a crazy shootout game. Then the loss by 12 at Kansas. It seemed like Oklahoma State was still trying to find maybe a footing or an identity. Is there a certain point this season you can point at, maybe even recently, where OSU has found their identity?
I think, as strange as it sounds, the Baylor game and the Iowa State game earlier in the year, whenever they didn't have Cade Cunningham, the rest of the guys kind of found out about themselves. They started using a little bit more 2-post sets with Caleb Boone, with Matthew Alexander Moncrief, and that's kind of transitioned well into Cade Cunningham kind of finding his way back into the lineup. I feel like that gave the rest of the team confidence, so that whenever Cade Cunningham did come back, that they've gotten a lot better. And honestly, they're just so young that throughout the year, you've just kind of seen this team continue to grow up. You know, like 2 freshmen are starting, 2 sophomores are starting, and then it's a senior who transferred in. So he's not even like he's been here a long time. So it's really been a growing process for this team. I think you wanted to play them early. And now late in the year, you know, this isn't a team that a lot of teams want to see in the Big 12 tournament and the NCAA tournament and things like that.
I got to ask you, as we kind of turn our attention to tonight's game and what is on deck for Baylor, Oklahoma State at 6 p.m. in the Farrell Center. Note number 1 that I've seen today, Isaac Likely, and his availability for tonight's game. Has Mike Boynton said anything to the media, or is there any hint at whether or not we'll see him play tonight?
It seems like it'll be a game time decision. He got asked about it yesterday and kind of waffled on a little bit, but yeah, it's been a weird thing to track with Isaac Likely this season. He had a foot injury that he was playing on for a while, and they finally kind of shut him down for a few games to just let that heal. And then in a practice after his foot injury healed, he injured his hand. So he went through warm-ups on Monday night against Oklahoma, but then ended up he was suited up, so I guess it was in case of emergency kind of deal, but ended up not playing. So I think that he could play tonight. He could play Saturday night against West Virginia, but I would at least expect him back for the Big 12 tournament.
So if you had to give buy or sell, he plays tonight, what is your personal leaning?
I'm kind of leaning right now that he does play. And I'm honestly not sure, because, game shape is an issue. So I'm not sure how that works out for Oklahoma State. But I'm kind of thinking, they've taken it easy. It is a hand. So I'm kind of thinking that he will be back sooner than later.
Walk me through, too. So the current Big 12 standings, which that's really the fight right now, is that who can make their tournament seeding a little bit better. Baylor, Kansas, West Virginia, Oklahoma State is where we are right now. OSU with 2 straight wins against Baylor and West Virginia will vie for that 2 spot. Is there a scenario in which they can overtake Kansas for 2?
That'll be interesting. It's just so tough with the remaining schedule that Oklahoma State has left. They are, in Waco tonight. Then they fly straight to Morgantown against 2 top 6 teams. So I guess there is a realistic scenario. Well, I don't know how realistic, but there is a scenario. But they honestly have to take care of their own kind of ordeals. They've split the I don't know exactly what the tiebreakers are. But they've split the series with Kansas. So I'm not exactly sure what it would come down to if they ended up with the same record. Kansas got all its games in. Oklahoma State will get all of its games in. So I'm not really sure what the tiebreakers are. I haven't got that far because, honestly, I'm not sure that you can count on wins against Baylor and against West Virginia on the road in 2 games in 3 days.
When you look at tonight's game in the Farrell Center, what are the key points, the key takeaways that you expect?
I think I'm really intrigued by this game just because, they didn't have Cade Cunningham. They didn't have Rondo Walker, 2 guys who are starting now. They had that halftime lead, and they've kind of, like I've said, grown up a little bit. So I don't know if I can compare this game at all to the game before. But I think big things, Oklahoma State has been very turnover prone at times this year. They have so many different ball handlers and playmakers that sometimes, try a little too much, Cade Cunningham included. And then it's kind of like Cade Cunningham struggled in the first half against Oklahoma on Monday. They just continuously double teamed him. It'll be interesting to see if Scott Drew decides to, leave a guy one-on-one with Cunningham. That's what Lon Kruger tried on Saturday. He got 40 points. Then on Monday, they kind of just double teamed him. So I'm kind of interested to see how Scott Drew kind of handles him. And then turnover, the classic coaches speak, turnovers, rebounds, free throws, all really important things for Oklahoma State being as young as it is.
I want to, if you look at Baylor and what they've got right now, is there a certain player or clump of players that you point to that say, here's a group that could be the difference tonight?
I think anytime you look at Jared Butler, he could be a difference. He got white hot in Stillwater. There are times where Oklahoma State doesn't defend the 3-point line very well. Brady Manick went off on Monday night. So I think he'll be, this is kind of like a dream scenario for the neutral college basketball fan, getting Cade Cunningham versus Jared Butler in a big-time game late in the season in March.
When it comes to defensive matchups, we're looking at Davion Mitchell. There's a height difference between him and Cade Cunningham. Can he guard him? Mark Vital and Cade Cunningham. There's a speed, athleticism, agility difference between those 2 guys. Do you see a certain player on the Baylor roster that you think, okay, there's a guy that for sure can lock Cade Cunningham down?
I don't know that there's a player in the country that could for sure lock Cade Cunningham down. OU tried Elijah Harkless, who he had a really good game, had 5 steals. There were a few times where he just straight up ripped Cade Cunningham, but obviously, still got up to 40 points. So I'm interested to see if it is just one guy, if one guy's not working, they switch to a different guy and then go to a double. That how Scott Drew handles this, I'm really intrigued to kind of see. And that's been like that for all of the games with Cade Cunningham in them this year.
I want to know, too, with Cunningham averaging 4 turnovers a game, his assist-turnover ratio is not great. Does that seem to be his kryptonite?
I would say yes and no. Honestly, you see the turnovers, and some of them are bad, but he's getting doubled a lot. They're forcing the ball out of his hands, and then there's sometimes where he's just trying too much. Yeah. I'd say that turnovers have kind of been, they're any basketball team's kryptonite, but they've kind of definitely been this young Oklahoma State squad's kryptonite this year. But I believe in the double overtime Texas win, I believe Oklahoma State had 22 turnovers and 4 assists and beat a Texas team that was ranked 6th in the country or something like that. So it's something that they've been able to overcome this year. But if you're an Oklahoma State fan, you'd certainly like them to cut those numbers down and then maybe run away with one of these games.
Yeah. Kryptonite in general. Is there a place that you point with OSU and you think, all right, if any team's going to be able to beat them, here's how they do it?
Yeah, it is size inside. Derek Culver, The TCU's big man, Kevin Samuel. Guys like that have really been able to work their way around. Caleb Boone, who's really good offensively, but he's kind of a lean 6'10", so he's able to get back down, able to get kind of bullied on the glass at times. So that's really been Oklahoma State's kryptonite this season.
You know, Derek Culver worried us with West Virginia on Tuesday. I didn't think Baylor would escape Morgantown with a win coming into the game. Most things pointed to them not being able to, and then of course the overtime victory, the Big 12 championship for the Bears. But that's kind of been a question for Baylor too. Is without a big presence inside, teams that can bully the paint really are going to hurt the Bears. So does that mean with two teams that kind of have that issue, do you see pretty evenly matched squads when it comes to trends, momentum, and just current pace of play when you look at both of these teams?
Yeah, I think that – so I kind of think that Mike Boynton wants to build this team like Baylor. Obviously, this is kind of still the infancy with guys, freshmen and sophomores. But, you have your one kind of star, Jared Butler. That would have been Cade Cunningham. And then you've kind of got these role players who are really good defenders, who are really good at getting out on the break. So I kind of think that Oklahoma State, in a way, is kind of a baby Baylor. But yeah, as you mentioned, inside's kind of an issue. Caleb Boone, I believe, had 21 points in the first meeting with Baylor. Matthew Alexander-Moncrief had 15 or something like that. So they were able to kind of get an advantage in that area. But you kind of wonder if Cade Cunningham returning, neglects that at all.
Looking up and down the stat sheets, the game notes, everything that you've seen with OSU and then Baylor too, how do you think tonight goes? From tip to final buzzer, what are you expecting to see in Waco?
I have no idea. I put on our prediction post out today. I could see OSU, kind of running away with it. I could see OSU winning a close game. I could see Baylor winning a close game, and I could see Baylor running away with it. So I have absolutely no idea. We talked before the first game. I was like, OSU's probably going to have a lead at half, and then they're going to blow it. And that's exactly what happened. But this team kind of has grown up. So, have they overcame that? And then obviously, like I mentioned before, Cade Cunningham didn't play in the first game. How does that change things? So I have no idea. I picked Baylor in a close game, but I wouldn't be surprised with any outcome tonight.
And for the folks in the world that are dropping their Monopoly money out there on games like this, is Oklahoma State always a safe bet when you're taking them plus or minus whatever in the first half?
Perhaps. They were down. Honestly, I don't know. They were down Saturday at OU, and then they were down Monday at home versus OU. So maybe that trend's kind of going the other direction. But I don't know what the spread on this game was. I think Ken Pom had it at like minus 12. Yeah. And I was like, again, nothing would surprise me, but I was like, okay, I don't know that I would pick them to win by that much. So yeah, I don't know. They've been so, I don't know, they're getting more consistent, but the inconsistencies from earlier in the year, the TCU losses, things like that kind of, still linger in your mind when you're trying to pick this team.
I want to know too, as we look at Big 12 tournament time and even past that NCAA tournament time, what is the ceiling for this Oklahoma State team and what you've seen with them this season?
I think the ceiling is really high. Honestly, anytime you have a Cade Cunningham on your roster, your ceiling's going to be really high. But then your kind of floor is unknown at this point. Yeah. But I think that this is a team that could get streaky and win the Big 12 tournament, depending on how Baylor and West Virginia play. But I could also see them getting beat in the first round. So that kind of goes back to that inconsistency, maybe not knowing a whole lot about. But I think as far as ceilings go, I think that this team could make a run, make an Elite Eight run, things like that.
I mean, they've definitely got the firepower. You look up and down the Big 12, it just seems like everybody, the top 7 teams are going to make it in, have a shot at a Sweet 16. So I want to real quick bring that into play. Buy or sell? The Big 12 gets 6 teams in the Sweet 16.
Ooh, 6 teams. So you'd have Baylor, West Virginia. Kansas is kind of I'm not so sure on Kansas. Kansas is a little flaky. I think Oklahoma State is capable. I don't think Oklahoma's capable. I think they're kind of trending downwards. Yeah. Who are some of the other TCU?
Texas Tech will probably
Texas Tech. Those are Texas, I think, is capable, and then Texas Tech they're kind of waffling a little bit too. So I would say, just because I'm a Big 12 truther, I'll say buy. But that's a fun little scenario there.
Buy or sell 3 teams from the Big 12 in the Elite Eight.
I think I'm buying that. I think, you get Baylor, West Virginia, which kind of seems, I don't know if locks is the right word, but those are kind of safe picks. And then I think surely Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, Texas, or Kansas, one of those guys could also find their way in.
from what you're seeing right now, buy or sell Oklahoma State to the semifinal of the Big 12 tournament?
Let's see. What they'd have to win one game? Does that get them in semis? Okay. I'd buy that. This will be the first year that Mike Boynton didn't have to play in that preliminary round. So this is kind of a whole new Big 12 tournament as far as I'm covering it.
Yeah, no kidding. Will you be in Kansas City?
I don't think I'm going to Kansas City just because, it'd be over Zoom, things like that. But I do think I will go to Indianapolis. But yeah, I've seen Kansas City before. I don't know that I need to go there and be on Zooms.
No, somebody told me, they were like, look, why don't you go to the Big 12 tournament? And I was like, 5 days in Kansas City. That's my idea as a college kid of going and enjoying my my week, in which basketball is great. And I love watching basketball, but doing it from my couch might be just the same as being in the metropolis that Kansas City is. But right now, buy or sell 2 Big 12 teams to the Final Four. I mean, and it may not even be Baylor. I wouldn't be surprised if Oklahoma State or a Kansas or a Texas, even Oklahoma, as old as they are, get hot and go all the way. Do you think there's a shot for the Big 12 to get 2 in?
I think there is a shot, but I'd probably sell that just because I'm not totally sold on Gonzaga either, honestly. Playing the conference that they play in, I'm kind of waffling on them. But I think Illinois is really good. I think the Big Ten's got a lot of good teams. I think the SEC's got a lot of good teams. A kind of interesting part about college basketball this year is there wasn't as much interconference play, so you kind of don't know how the conferences stack up with each other. Yeah. So you think that the Big Ten and the Big 12 are the 2 top conferences, but maybe the SEC is really good this year. Maybe the Pac-12 has some good teams. So probably not, but maybe. So I'd sell that.
And then tonight's game, the score, the over/under is now at 148.5. Buy or sell over 148.5.
Ooh. I'm going to buy that just because Oklahoma State's had 4 overtime games this year. Baylor just came off of an overtime game. So I'd feel like you're more likely than in a normal scenario going to get overtime. And then on top of that, both of these teams like to get out and run. So I'd buy that.
Without a doubt. And do you have a score range? Do you think the game will be in tonight?
Yeah, so I think I picked on our website Baylor 77, Oklahoma State 74. So somewhere around a basket's difference. Close game, but I still think Baylor would win.
Maybe they'll find a way. The magic in Morgantown, we'll see if it's gone or not. And Baylor riding that high, the Big 12 championship. I definitely think Oklahoma State will be out ahead in the first half. But who knows? Maybe the Bears have just enough mojo to do it in the end. Marshall Scott, Pistol Guys, thanks so much for joining us and breaking things down for Baylor, Oklahoma State. Hopefully we can do it again in the Big 12 tournament.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Always great to have you on again. That was Marshall Scott, Pistol Guys, talking Baylor and Oklahoma State men's basketball. The game tonight at 6 p.m. in the Farrell Center on ESPN. All right. When we come back from this break, we're going to break down a little bit of Baylor women's volleyball. Contrary to the Baylor men's volleyball team, we're going to talk Baylor women's volleyball, their game last night against UT. Number 6 Baylor, number 2 Texas. A tight matchup in the Irwin Center in Austin. Again, we will be right back. Breaking things down across the realm of volleyball. I'm Drake Toll. Armstrong Sims is in the void somewhere out there, and this is Up Tempo.
Happy Thursday, Baylor Nation, and what a Thursday it is as we unapologetically remind you that both the Baylor men's and women's basketball teams are Big 12 champions. Across college hoops last night, number 10 Villanova took care of number 14 Creighton at home, 72-60. Number 11 Florida State hammered Boston College, 93-64. Syracuse aided their tournament resume with a 64-54 win over Clemson, and Missouri upset Florida on the road 72-70. On the women's side, number 10 Indiana and number 20 West Virginia avoided upsets with wins over Iowa and Kansas State respectively. And Creighton's men's basketball coach has offered to resign from the program after controversial comments recently, while the SEC has announced that the league will allow 20% capacity or 3,400 fans for the conference tournament. In volleyball, number 6 Baylor battled back from down 2-0 to number 2 Texas last night to force a 4th set, but lost the lead late and eventually fell in Austin 3-1. Yassiana Presley finished with 13 kills, Lauren Harrison added 16, and Marika Vandermark finished with 12 and 5 blocks. In golf, Baylor men finished 11th at the Cabo Collegiate, with the women finishing 11th as well at the Gamecock Intercollegiate. And number 3 Baylor men's basketball hits the court again tonight against number 17 Oklahoma State in the Farrell Center for just their 5th home conference game. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With your Ram truck from Allen Samuels, you may not have to plow through snow and mud or pull heavy loads, but you could. During the Big Finish year-end event, you get a Ram deal like no other. Employee pricing for all, 0% for 84, no payments for 90 days. Ram 1500 Lone Star for Christmas. No other truck comes close. And ask about Big Finish pricing on Ram Heavy Duty and Ram ProMaster for your business. Happy holidays from Allen Samuels.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans and all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Waco Custom Marketplace is your home for holiday favorites for parties and the time with family. Various specials available in-store and online. A variety of steak gift boxes with 4 ribeyes for $70, 4 bacon wrapped fillets for $55, or 4 New York strips for $50, and all come with steak butter. Fall snack box for watching a game or wrapping presents or hosting people at your house, including summer sausage, split horn, and jalapeno cheese and salted crackers for only $35. 2 pieces of lobster tails with herb butter and 2 bacon wrapped fillets for $60. Order online or call in advance to ensure availability, or drop by Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. Waco Custom Marketplace has a full-service butcher shop for customized orders or cuts of your favorite steaks or beef tenderloin or specially ordered prime rib roast. Plus, what you want with pork, poultry, seafood, and more. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or wacocustommarketplace.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Welcome back into Up Tempo Thursday, folks. How about it? Having a good one today. Baylor men's basketball in action tonight, 6 p.m. in the Farrell Center. The return home for your boys. And breaking news. Not only breaking news in Oklahoma State right now with Mike Holder. Mike Holder retiring at OSU. 16 years. He succeeded Harry Birdwell. Has been there 16 years as the AD at Oklahoma State. He is retiring today. He announced that. Not sure when that's effective, but they have their backup athletic director. Yada, yada, yada. Something's in place. They'll be fine. Mike Holder. Done at Oklahoma State. What a ride.
Holder.
A ride. I know. It's tough not to say it. I'm paying respect to the man, but yeah, I really want to. Today, breaking news, 2021 Naismith Trophy semifinalists. Here are the 10. From 30 to 10, we have shrunk. Drew Timme, forward from Gonzaga. Evan Mobley, freshman forward, USC. Corey Kispert, senior forward, Gonzaga. Herbert Jones, senior forward, Alabama. Quentin Grimes, junior guard, Houston. Luka Garza, senior center, Iowa. Ayo Dosunmu, junior guard, Illinois. Hunter Dickinson, freshman center, Michigan, and Cade Cunningham, freshman guard, Oklahoma State. That is the list of Naismith Award semifinalists, the 10 this part of the season. Any surprises, Armstrong?
That's it.
What do you mean that's it?
That you just read that list is the complete list?
Yeah.
So I guess my biggest surprise is that Jared Butler isn't even on the top 10.
I'm just kidding. Jared Butler's on there. That was only 9 names you're counting.
I was not counting.
Jared Butler's actually top 5. One could infer by the post that they put out today. So basically he's in the top 5 running for National Player of the Year this year. I don't know if he's going to win it. Oh, froze again.
I don't know what you're looking at, but you're there.
On there? Okay, sweet. Yeah, but Jared Butler is
I'm not
top 10.
this.
Yep. I know. It's tough.
I guess there's no surprises.
No surprises at all. I think I'm kind of surprised Jalen Suggs is not on there, but hey, Suggs to Sugg. Last night in volleyball, number 2, Texas, and number 6, Baylor, squaring off in Austin. Texas is good. Texas is really, really good. Highlights, Baylor fell 4 sets the first time in 2022-21. The Bears collected more than 70 digs for the second match in a row, 72 against the Longhorns last night. 3 Bears recorded double-digit kills. Lauren Harrison had 16, Yassiana Presley 13, Marika Vandermark 12. Presley reached double-digit figure for the 18th time this season. Harrison did so for the 11th time. Marika Vandermark eclipses her mark for the 8th time this year. For the second match in a row, Presley recorded double-double, her 5th of the season, 25th of her career. Callie Williams tallied her 6th double-double of the season with 22 assists and a career-high 15 digs. That's a lot of digs. Hannah Locken Sedgwick collected 19 assists, her 7th double-digit outing of the year. 4 Bears amassed 10 digs. Chanel Brandschreiber, Williams, Campbell Bowden, who was on the show, and Yassiana Presley. Brandschreiber's 15th double-digit performance this season. 2 Bears collected at least 5 blocks in Presley Anderson and Kara McGee. Stat of the match, 72. Baylor recorded 72 digs, second highest output of the season. Ryan McGuire spoke to media after the game, but before we check that out, let's see the highlights of Baylor's match against Texas last night, a loss in 4 sets.
The number 6 Baylor Bears, 15-3 on the season against the number 2 Texas Longhorns, a perfect 16-0. Something that they are going to work through throughout the spring, but good problem to have. Nice up by Baylor. Try to even this up at 18-all. Brandschreiber with the dig, and Presley finishes it off. Highly touted recruit, number 6 in her class, so another new face for Texas and an option to put in at that setting position. Quick jump, and that pays off. Knotted up now, 5 apiece. Back row attack unloaded by the reigning National Player of the Year. And I love that, to your point, when a setter does that and goes to the hot hand. That a big swing, right side going up top. Harrison off the shoulder of Gabriel. 22 and 14 in the 2 matches in the fall against Baylor. That a big swing on the left side from Harrison. Gabriel Farpara off the block, but it stays on the Texas side and finds the floor.
When they're handling the ball, both sides want to set this ball fast because they know how big the block is on the other side, especially in the middle.
Those highlights last night, Baylor on top in that 3rd set, but ended up falling 3-1 in a 4-set match. Tight stuff. I mean, Baylor's really good at volleyball, and they're going to be all right. They're going to be all right, but history could have been made. Would have loved to win in Austin. Always fun to beat Texas. UT Mike, I'm glad you can't call in. Ugh. Ryan McGuire spoke to the media after the game last night, and a depleted Ryan McGuire. No student athletes were on the Zoom, but here is Ryan McGuire recapping the loss to Texas. History could not be made. Baylor couldn't find a way in the end.
Yeah, Ryan, kind of a rough start. You had talked about trying to get other players involved. Looked like that happened tonight. Just maybe Yasi didn't have her best night. Was that more Texas defense?
A lot of it was our execution on it. I think, it's a game of rhythm. Texas is very good. Probably one of the biggest blocks we're going to see in the country. We know that. We've trained for them and that before. I think, it's really probably just on me where I've just been so preoccupied to try and get so many things in place just to play volleyball. And talking to Jared, they're maybe in the same boat a little bit, or there's just a lot happening on our own side of the net before we can talk about and address what's happening on the other side of the net. With such a late start we've been given. So, we're a little slow to that. I think combination Yasi, but more so the setters bringing the ball off and keeping her in rhythm. But it was great to see Lauren starting to break through. I think her best is still ahead of her. I think Mariko is making some plays down the stretch there, and it was just a little bit off. A lot of players, I think, wasn't their worst night, but definitely was not their best night in just subtle ways. Chanel's first team All-American libero, and in my mind, it does really, really well. Still led us in digs, a lot of touches. Every ball she sets are just great targets. But she, I think she knows. She's like, man, she could have had a few more here and there, but we believe she can do it, and probably that would be the case for 3 or 4 people on defense. We're used to seeing them making maybe a little bit more cleaner digs than just digs that are up.
Hi, Coach. What was Lauren doing differently and really so well tonight to be able to get over that front line from Texas?
I think she's just been training well. It's been an area of focus of from backswing to her step close, to being more explosive, to transition. We want her to go beast mode a little bit more often in what she's doing, and not play it as safe for her and her game individually as a hitter. So I think she's just more comfortable doing that. She's probably gotten better shaking off errors and just moving on to the next play.
Yeah, Ryan, like you've talked about before, Texas has a lot of players, but was she kind of on a different level tonight?
She just played clean. It's they found her and used her at the right time. So, she was low error on the out of system stuff, and we couldn't convert. I thought we had some, the digs and touches, but didn't turn those back into points. And, and then when the opportunity was there, she was able to swing away.
Are there some takeaways from this? I mean, I think we talked about it before. This is good for both teams, but I know it's right after the match, but are there some takeaways from this where you can get better?
Yeah, for sure. Lots and lots of takeaways from our middle transition to a little bit of the scheming to some trust factors to some offensive sets that we think are in our wheelhouse that we didn't really utilize very well tonight or use at all. That we can battle test in some of these more matches coming forward.
You guys have always been pretty good about it, but just kind of turn the page and look for the next match.
That's all you can do. You want to still learn and get better from it. And, got a good Oklahoma team coming and got to do it after traveling on the road. And, it's going to be a very uncomfortable month, but the hope is that it makes us a little bit more comfortable moving through the tournament in April.
Yeah, Ryan,
Sorry, Drake is currently muted. Sorry to the fans out there. Drake, if you can unmute yourself.
Yeah,
I muted you. I muted you.
Oh,
because
that was Ryan.
Go ahead. Well, while Ryan McGuire was talking, you could hear you getting up, and so it's like I'll just mute him, and he'll notice. That's my bad.
I didn't notice. Thanks though. Ryan McGuire post-match last night. We're gonna break right quick when we come back. So let's see what we got. It's running a little bit behind today, but nonetheless, Jacob Hyde is going to join us on the show today. I'm going to unfreeze myself. Jacob Hyde is going to come on and talk a little bit of college basketball. He runs the World of College Basketball Twitter account. We'll talk all things across the country and break down a little bit more tonight's matchup against Oklahoma State. I'm Drake Toll. Armstrong Sims is in the void. And this is Up Tempo.
Happy Thursday, Baylor Nation, and what a Thursday it is as we unapologetically remind you that both the Baylor men's and women's basketball teams are Big 12 champions. Across college hoops last night, number 10 Villanova took care of number 14 Creighton at home, 72-60. Number 11 Florida State hammered Boston College, 93-64. Syracuse aided their tournament resume with a 64-54 win over Clemson, and Missouri upset Florida on the road, 72-70. On the women's side, number 10 Indiana and number 20 West Virginia avoided upsets with wins over Iowa and Kansas State, respectively. And Creighton's men's basketball coach has offered to resign from the program after controversial comments recently, while the SEC has announced that the league will allow 20% capacity, or 3,400 fans, for the conference tournament. In volleyball, number 6 Baylor battled back from down 2-0 to number 2 Texas last night to force a fourth set, but lost the lead late and eventually fell in Austin 3-1. Yasiana Presley finished with 13 kills, Lauren Harrison added 16, and Marika Vandermark finished with 12 and 5 blocks. In golf, Baylor men finished 11th at the Cabo Collegiate, with the women finishing 11th as well at the Gamecock Intercollegiate. And number 3 Baylor men's basketball hits the court again tonight against number 17 Oklahoma State in the Farrell Center for just their 5th home conference game. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio. Here's Drake Toll.
All right, welcome back into the Petty Low T Bears Den remote today, Jersey Thursday, otherwise known in Guam as Thursday, but in America, it's Jersey Day, Thursday, happy whatever you want to call it. Baylor game day today against Oklahoma State, and Jacob Hyde is joining the show today to help us break things down, not just with Baylor and Oklahoma State, but in the world of college basketball, pun intended. He runs the World of College Basketball Twitter account. Jacob, thanks for coming on today.
Hey, thanks for the opportunity. It's March, obviously, so I'm pumped for that. Some conference tournaments are starting to ramp up today and this weekend, and obviously tournaments like the Big 12 and those Power 5 conferences tournaments starting up next week. So thanks for having me.
It's March, man. Things are getting mad already. You got conference tournament games that are going on right now. St. Joseph's and Umass are playing over in the Atlantic 10 Championship second round right now. Umass up by 21, which I didn't really see coming. But hey, they're on a tear. There've been some awesome games. I watched Northern Kentucky a couple nights ago in a triple overtime thriller. I mean, there's no better time for college basketball than March.
Yeah, definitely. And I just watched that Richmond game a little bit ago, and I was actually really surprised on the season that Richmond had. I thought Richmond was going to be a top 2 team in the Atlantic 10, and just the way that they played this season, and they ended up being an 8 seed in the tournament, really probably shocked a lot of America.
Oh, without a doubt. The A10 as a whole, though, has been a little bit more competitive than maybe I thought it would be at the top end. Some teams that have surprised me. But before we even get into some of the smaller conferences or realm of college basketball in the mid-tier, starting up top, I mean, with Big 12 play even, when you look at the scope of college basketball and you make a case for either the Big 12 or the Big 10, do you think those are the 2 premier basketball conferences right now?
Yes, definitely. I would probably put the Big 10 before the Big 12 in that aspect from top to bottom. The Big 10, any team going into a night can beat any team, and we saw that a couple nights ago with Nebraska beating up on Rutgers, especially with their top scorer obviously leaving the program. But in my opinion, the Big 10 is probably top to bottom the best conference, but right behind it is the Big 12. Every time I watch a Big 12 game, you're going to have a competitive matchup, especially defensively.
You know, that's one of those things. It's so odd to me that the Big 12, Baylor even individually, is known as a defensive team, but they're an over machine. You know, Baylor will allow opponents to put up 65, 70 games in a night while still playing solid defense. Does that speak more to Baylor's pace of play, their offensive skills? What do you think kind of contributes to that?
There's a lot of aspects that probably go into it, but probably the most I would put to it is Scott Drew's ability to have that team play high offensive basketball. The way they played, obviously Jared Butler is an All-American. He's leading that team right now, and he's just, especially when they went into Morgantown on Tuesday afternoon, I should say, the way he played just spoke out how well Scott Drew has brought that team back from that COVID break, from that 3-week COVID break that they had.
And in the scope of Baylor, Oklahoma State tonight, would you consider Oklahoma State to be, if not the one of the hottest teams in the country?
Yes, I actually talked about that a couple days ago on my page about how 2 of the teams you probably don't want to see right now is Oklahoma State as one of them and Arkansas as the other one. But yes, on the case of Oklahoma State, you have Cade Cunningham, and it's just not Cade Cunningham. You have that supporting cast that the Cowboys have, and they're just playing some outstanding basketball. And they obviously played against Oklahoma a couple nights ago. And I think I know we're going to talk about it later with the Baylor game, but the way that Cade Cunningham impacted that game without scoring the basketball in the first half really shows to me how talented and how all around Oklahoma State is as a basketball team.
And we can jump right into that now. You know, the game tonight, Oklahoma State, Baylor, 6 p.m. ESPN in the Farrell Center in Waco. Oklahoma State comes in 10-6 in conference, Baylor 11-1. The Bears off of that overtime victory against West Virginia. Let's start there. Did you get to see that game? And really, what stuck out to you against Baylor and the Mountaineers in Morgantown?
The one thing that stuck out to me was, like, especially last week when they played Iowa State, they really obviously struggled with them. But the way that Baylor came out of the gates and just was scorching hot from behind the three-point line on Tuesday afternoon was, honestly, it wasn't surprising to me, but I was pretty shocked because they went up I think 12-2 early on. And I'm like, well, this wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And then obviously West Virginia, being West Virginia with Sean McNeil and Miles McBride and the crew, they kind of brought that game back. And honestly, it was probably one of the best regular season basketball games I've watched this year.
Without a doubt. I mean, 2 top 6 teams going toe-to-toe, Baylor picking up the road win. And you compare that game to Baylor and Kansas and what Baylor's done in the scope of the season. Did you think Baylor was back to its normal self?
Definitely. Watching that game last week against Iowa State, it was really brutal. To see, I mean, it was kind of, you saw it coming because you haven't played a game in 3 weeks, and I think they had 8 players that got COVID, so you're not really practicing or working out in that case. But coming off of 3 weeks of not playing basketball, struggling against Iowa State, which you saw coming, but going into West Virginia, going into Morgantown, top 6 matchup, they are definitely back to their regular self, I would think. The way they played and the way they stuck with West Virginia and the different hustle plays that they made, especially late in that game, really showed me that Baylor is a top 2 team in the country.
When you look at this Bear team, too, and what they got coming into tonight's game against OSU, what do you expect to see in this matchup overall from tip-off to final buzzer?
It'll definitely be – I think it'll be more defensive, especially. I think if Baylor can – look at that Oklahoma game against Oklahoma State and kind of game plan around that and make Cade Cunningham not score the basketball and make him impact the game like Oklahoma did. But obviously it didn't work out for Oklahoma. But for Baylor, especially offensively, they can match that with stopping or cutting down Cade Cunningham's impact on the game.
And for the Baylor team, on their side of things, you know, Jared Butler just named a Naismith Award semifinalist, one of the top 10 players left in the country. Is he the catalyst for the Bears? I mean, what really makes this team so good?
It's definitely Jared Butler, but there's definitely other aspects to that game, like Vital. Vital. He can score the basketball, but the way he impacts down low and grabs rebounds and does all that stuff down low, it definitely helps in the aspect of what Baylor basketball is trying to do. But like you said, I totally agree that Jared Butler is definitely the go-to guy for this team.
Outside of Vital and Butler, you got Maceo Teague, Davion Mitchell. That makes such a difference. In this game tonight, over under 148.5, Baylor 12-point favorites, which I think is outrageous. I mean, Oklahoma State's playing really, really well. What do you make of those numbers? Do you think Baylor covers 12? The over maybe hits in 148.5?
I definitely think that, like you said, it's outrageous that the line is at 12 points. The way Oklahoma State is playing, I just think that they're obviously going to cover that. They're going to cover the plus 12, but the over, I don't know if they're going to go over 148. I think it's going to be a highly defensive battle, and I think the offense is obviously going to be better than the defense, and you're going to make those type of shots where it's going to be tough, but it's Big 12 basketball, so you have to go with the under.
And with teams this season, the Big 12 outside of Baylor and Oklahoma State, looking at Kansas, West Virginia, Texas, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, the depth of this conference, this league, who are some of those teams that really jump out to you right now as legitimate contenders come tournament time?
The one that really sticks out to me right now is probably Texas and maybe even Texas Tech, but surprisingly, I didn't see Texas Tech being this low in the conference. Obviously, with Mac McClung getting that waiver and being able to play, it was a big aspect of that offense. But right now, I think what Shaka Smart is doing with that program down in Texas is outstanding, and they're definitely going to try to make a run at the Big 12 title.
So the scope of the country right now, college basketball, I want to take a look back at maybe the biggest upset we saw this week, and just because of the disparity in the score, being on the road, Illinois knocking off Michigan. Did you expect that at all? Is that speaking more to Illinois right now or Michigan?
Well, it's kind of a long story because I thought Ayo Dosunmu was going to play. I thought he was going to play in that game. I heard reports, and a lot of people heard different reports that he was fitted for a mask and he was going to play. But I picked Illinois to win that game, but I didn't think they were going to win by the way they won. They just dominated every aspect of that game, and obviously Kofi Cockburn, it was dominant down low against Hunter Dickinson, and being able to get Dickinson off the floor with those 2 early fouls was a big key for Illinois. And just those guards, Trent Frazier, Carbello, they're just outstanding. And I've heard a lot of people say that Illinois is better without Ayo. I mean, they aren't, but like the heart that they have without Ayo and wanting to win a game is definitely big. So I think it's more to Illinois than it was to Michigan.
I want to know, too, the scope of the Big Ten outside of those 2 teams. Ohio State has been struggling a little bit. Wisconsin's been inconsistent. Who jumps off the page to you as a Final Four contender that's not Michigan, not Illinois in that conference?
If I had to pick, it would probably be Iowa. Just the way their offense, the guards that they have, Wieskamp, Frederick, and then you obviously have probably going to be a National Player of the Year winner, Luka Garza, just the way that they play offensively. And I kind of thought Iowa was going to be sort of overrated this year, but they kind of leaped that expectation, and those guards are actually stepping up the way that I thought they weren't going to. And just the way they're playing, I mean, they struggle defensively a little bit, but just the offensive firepower that they have can lead them to make a Final Four run.
You mentioned how Luka Garza right now is obviously the front runner for National Player of the Year. Before I get to the end of that question, I do want to say to the fans at home, Baylor Track and Field's Casey Lightfoot repeats as the USTF CCCA Regional Athlete of the Year. So Casey Lightfoot taking home that honor taking home that honor again. For, crazy repeats as Regional Athlete of the Year for Casey Lightfoot, the pole vaulter at Baylor. But my question for you, Jacob, on Luka Garza, do you think there's any way that Jared Butler is able to sneak his name into the case for National Player of the Year?
That's
and
a
to
tough
help
question.
you, I'm a Baylor homer, and I have said no this entire way through. I think that I'm trending more, yes, it's possible now than I was 2 or 3 weeks ago, but Luka Garza's numbers are unbelievable.
Yeah, I think there could be a case, but just going through Luka Garza's season, the way I think he went through the first 3 or 4 games, averaging above 30 points a game and just dominating their opponents, and even in Big Ten play, he's averaging over 20, 25 points. So he's just the numbers he has. I thought he was going to win it last year over Obi Toppin, but I think this year he deserves it.
And then I want to, Jacob, before we get you out of here, I want to play a little game of buy or sell, because we started doing that this week, and I love it. I love it. Getting different people's opinions, just quick shot on some of these questions. But buy or sell 6 Big 12 teams in the Sweet 16?
Well, I'll buy it.
I like it. I think the Big 12 is going to be really scrappy come March. Then buy or sell, in that case, buy or sell 3 Big 12 teams in the Elite 8.
I'm going to sell that one. I think Baylor and maybe West Virginia will make it that far.
Buy or sell Baylor and West Virginia into the Final Four.
I'll buy that. I definitely think that both have the caliber to make it.
Buy or sell Gonzaga out before the Final Four?
I don't know. This one's tough because I'm definitely the one to defend Gonzaga for playing in the WCC, but I think I'm gonna sell that one. I think obviously their offensive power, it's totally a different team than Gonzaga usually has, and the way that they're dominating even their non-conference slate this year, the way they dominated those teams, I'm gonna sell that, and I'm gonna put the Zags in the Final Four.
Buy or sell Arkansas to the Elite Eight?
I'm gonna buy that all the way.
Wow. I grew up in Arkansas, so I can't argue with that whatsoever. The Must Bus is rolling in Fayetteville right now. Buy or sell Iowa State out in the Sweet 16? Not Iowa State, Iowa out in the Sweet 16.
I can definitely buy that. If their offense isn't clicking, they're definitely there for an upset.
Buy or sell Duke, Michigan State, North Carolina, and Syracuse all making the NCAA tournament?
I'm going to sell that one. Duke with their loss to Georgia Tech, I think they're out of the NCAA tournament hopes.
Wow. I think they're right there, without a doubt, trending down, especially after that loss. And I'm going to have to go with you. It's going to be a crazy year not seeing Duke in the tournament. But then buy or sell North Carolina, Syracuse, Michigan State making the tournament?
I will buy that. I think Syracuse definitely has a chance. They'll probably have to win one or two ACC tournament games. North Carolina will probably have to make a deep run in Michigan State. If they can beat Michigan one of these two games and win a couple of games in the Big Ten tournament, I think they're definitely right on the bubble.
And then buy or sell, last one, Baylor to the national championship game?
I'll buy it.
I like it. I'm glad you said that on the Baylor-centric show, too. That always helps out. But, hey, look, Jacob Hyde, thanks for joining us today. World of College Basketball, just talking hoops today. And I like it. I love the insight and opinions. Always good to get them.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's going to be a great day of hoops. Obviously, you have the Baylor-Oklahoma State game. You have Michigan State and Michigan, and you got a bunch of mid-major conference tournaments right now. So sit back and watch some TV.
Oh, man, great day for basketball. It's March. Things are getting crazy. Championship week, champ week this week. And again, love having you on to break it down. Jacob, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for having me.
Again, that was Jacob Hyde from World of College Basketball, talking hoops across the country, Baylor, Big 12, Big 10, and March Madness time. We're almost there, folks. Baylor's got a legitimate shot to make a run to the Final Four for the first time in the modern era, and a run possibly all the way to the national championship. It's crazy. I think it became real. It really became real once they knocked off West Virginia for the Big 12 championship. That feeling, it could be more. There could be more when it comes Big 12 tournament time and then time for the national championship Final Four. There's going to be a crazy buzz when it comes to Baylor men's basketball. What a time to be a Bear. I'm Drake Toll. Armstrong Sims is out there somewhere. Is there anybody out there? When we come back, we're going to break down baseball's win against Sam Houston State a couple of nights ago that we couldn't break down then. Let's see. It was Tuesday night, 4-0 against Sam Houston State. Couldn't break it down then because we were talking Baylor men's hoops and their Big 12 championship win. We're going to give the baseball team their fair shake because they deserve it after the win, the shutout win against Sam Houston. Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims. This is Up Tempo.
Happy Thursday, Baylor Nation, and what a Thursday it is as we unapologetically remind you that both the Baylor men's and women's basketball teams are Big 12 champions. Across college hoops last night, number 10 Villanova took care of number 14 Creighton at home, 72-60. Number 11 Florida State hammered Boston College, 93-64. Syracuse aided their tournament resume with a 64-54 win over Clemson, and Missouri upset Florida on the road, 72-70. On the women's side, number 10 Indiana and number 20 West Virginia avoided upsets with wins over Iowa and Kansas State, respectively. And Creighton's men's basketball coach has offered to resign from the program after controversial comments recently, while the SEC has announced that the league will allow 20% capacity or 3,400 fans for the conference tournament. In volleyball, number 6 Baylor battled back from down 2-0 to number 2 Texas last night to force a fourth set, but lost the lead late and eventually fell in Austin 3-1. Yasiana Presley finished with 13 kills, Lauren Harrison added 16, and Marika Vandermark finished with 12 and 5 blocks. In golf, Baylor men finished 11th at the Cabo Collegiate, with the women finishing 11th as well at the Gamecock Intercollegiate. And number 3 Baylor men's basketball hits the court again tonight against number 17 Oklahoma State in the Farrell Center for just their 5th home conference game. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up-Tempo.
With your Ram truck from Allen Samuels, you may not have to plow through snow and mud or pull heavy loads, but you could. During the Big Finish year-end event, you get a Ram deal like no other. Employee pricing for all, 0% for 84 and no payments for 90 days. Ram 1500 Lone Star for Christmas. No other truck comes close. And ask about Big Finish pricing on Ram Heavy Duty and Ram ProMaster for your business. Happy holidays from Allen Samuels.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Waco Custom Marketplace is your home for holiday favorites for parties and the time with family. Various specials available in-store and online. A variety of steak gift boxes with 4 ribeyes for $70, 4 bacon wrap fillets for $55, or 4 New York strips for $50, and all come with steak butter. Fall snack box for watching a game or wrapping presents or hosting people at your house, including summer sausage, split horn, and jalapeno cheese, and salted crackers for only $35. 2 pieces of lobster tails with herb butter and 2 bacon wrap fillets for $60. Order online or call in advance to ensure availability, or drop by Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. Waco Custom Marketplace has a full-service butcher shop for customized orders or cuts of your favorite steaks or beef tenderloin or specially ordered prime rib roast. Plus, what you want with pork, poultry, seafood, and more. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den remote. How about it? Happy Thursday, everybody. Today, breaking things down in Baylor men's basketball game tonight against OSU. And here, right now, let's do a little baseball talk. Am I frozen again? Armstrong? Are you out there?
I am out here. Your audio's coming through fine, so you're good.
Okay.
Your video is going in and out.
So the folks that are listening on the app, they're fine.
They're good.
Wow, sweet. Maybe that's the way to go. Maybe that is the way to go. Baylor baseball against Sam Houston State on Tuesday. I can tell you the stats. I can sit here, I can read off a bunch of numbers and stats, crazy stuff that happened and how good the team did, or we can show you the highlights from their win on Tuesday against Sam Houston State and Davion Downey's insane catch that he made in right field. Check it out.
You're watching Big 12 now on ESPN Plus. Tonight from Baylor Ballpark. The Bears finally back in their den as they welcome to town the Bearcats, appropriately on Texas Independence Day of Sam Houston. Continues out of the stretch. 3-2 up the middle. It's squeezed, and that's a double play to get out of the inning. Trey Richardson didn't have to budge. Drops over to second. Baylor out of a jam. Here in the top half of the sixth inning, that ball is going to carry, get interesting, and squeezed in. Davion Downey. Over the years, he's done everything you've asked of him. Played some first, DH. Thomas. This will carry back towards that wall and center. It's gone. Oh, it'll take a dip into the Brazos, and Baylor, for the first time in 2021, is on the board at Baylor Ballpark. Andy Thomas goes deep. Johnson out of the 8th spot, over 2 today with a strikeout and fly out. Runner is going. They again will test the arm of Andy Thomas and have yet to learn their lesson. Through 18 at-bats so far this year. Reaches over to cover the plate. This could be 2. Richardson, Pineda, Westner, 2 away. That ball's hit. Richardson will touch them all.
How about it? How about it? That's how you straighten out a mid-90s fastball.
And a couple off. Cardozo Kendo, ball game. So long from Baylor Ballpark with the final score. Baylor shuts out Sam Houston 4-0. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.
Baylor baseball, 7 hits, 4 runs. Sam Houston State, 0 shutout. Goose Egg post-game coach Steve Rodriguez and 2 players spoke to the media. Here are those guys after the Sam Houston State win.
Can you just walk me through that home run after 5.5 scoreless innings? Y'all finally got something going.
Yeah, definitely. The first pitch, they brought in a righty. First pitch blew it by me a little bit. I think he had a little bit more in his fastball than we had anticipated. So after I missed that first fastball, swung through it. I just knew I had to get my foot down and made pretty good contact with it. And, over the years, I've gotten a lot stronger and stronger each year. And this year I feel pretty strong at the plate. So when I connect with the ball, it'll travel pretty good distance, but it felt great off the bat. I was in much need of a hit and came out to be a big one.
Yeah. After the weekend, y'all had to have such a clean defensive game, and you had, almost 2 guys caught stealing at second. How did it feel to just be able to get that today?
Our pitchers great. Our defense looked really good. We played our overall pretty clean game. They were a pretty quick team. They like to run. I think they advance their odds to get into scoring position more when they just keep trying and trying and trying, even if they may get thrown out 50% of the time. I think they're going to keep trying that. And credits to them, they kept on trying, and luckily I think we got 2 of them tonight. So it felt really good to have a good whole team win like that.
And being back at Baylor Ballpark after not having a game for like a year, how did that feel, just being at home?
Yeah, it's a different feel. I mean, it's great to get, on the road versus an opponent, but there's nothing like playing at home. Your own box, your own batter's eye, your field, your dugout. It's just a completely different feel, and it was much needed for the entire team.
What can you tell me about Trey? And he had a huge home run as well, just to close the night off, and the progress he's made.
Yeah, no, he's an outstanding player. Super young, super talented, super quick. He's got really fast hands, got a great arm. He's a complete package player. And it showed tonight. He made a lot of good plays and hit that one pretty good. He connected with that, and that was gone off the bat. So really proud of that guy.
Can you just tell me about how it felt to come out here and pitch at home after being away for a really long time?
It's awesome. It's awesome to pitch here. It's an awesome ballpark. We had a good crowd out tonight, good energy from everybody. We were supposed to play here our first weekend. Obviously, it got canceled. So we were away 2 weekends in a row, but it was just great to be back here.
Right. And what can you say about getting such a huge win today after the weekend y'all had and having just a clean defensive game overall?
Obviously, we went 1-2 obviously last weekend, and so we knew we needed to switch things up a little bit, and not switch things up, just get our mojo back. And a weekday win is awesome. Those matter a lot more than people realize. And coming out against a really good Sam Houston State team was just a bonus, and I think that will prepare us better moving into a 4-game series with Memphis this weekend.
And y'all had a lot of your bullpen guys out here, I guess, just doing some work. And what can you say about the progress y'all made, after not playing for a year, basically?
I think it was a great day for everybody. The bullpen came out guns blazing. We still had too many walks, I think, but for the most part, we threw strikes and made pitches. And on top of that, we had a really good lineup tonight, and that gave us some support.
All right. Well, I think that's all I have for you right now. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
This was, I guess, a pretty clean game for y'all after, having the weekend y'all had down in Round Rock. What can you just say about the progress that your team has made in just such a short time?
No, we've been playing well. We've made a couple mistakes here and there, walked a couple too many guys here and there. But to be honest, we're playing 5 freshmen. We had a great opportunity to get a lot of our new arms in games over the past couple weeks. And, and so as those games start to develop and as we continue to play games, the shape of our team starts to take place, and we start to find certain roles for guys. We start to kind of shift guys into certain roles. And the biggest thing is that once they find those roles, I want them to take ownership of it. And that's what makes our team go, is when roles are established and those guys take control of those roles and they're the CEO of that role. And that's what makes our team pretty good. And so as a coaching staff, we're still trying to develop those roles, just because, we haven't seen guys play in a while. And so, inter squads and practices, that's one thing, but watching guys go out there and compete against another color uniform, that's something else.
And you had a lot of your bullpen arms out here today just to work them a little bit. What can you say about how they're progressing and getting ready for Memphis this weekend?
The big thing is that it's just like everything. The more you do something, the better you're going to get, the better feel you get. And it's just like, you have to get that adrenaline rush and understand how to control it. And that's what they're doing. So I was really happy with how our bullpen and even Logan Freeman came out and just give us a great couple innings. He's exactly what we wanted him to do. So really happy with the overall performance of our pitchers tonight.
And your lineup has been doing really well so far this season. What can you say about, the day that they had today? 2 home runs and some really great hits.
We have to hit the ball really well today. We didn't have a lot of success in regards to stat sheet numbers in regards to getting hits, but I thought our guys hit the ball really well. We lined out center field about 8 times, it seemed like. And so, as long as you can continue to do that, stay consistent, hit balls hard, at some point you just got to let baseball take care of itself. And, they just continue to go out there, have great at-bats, keep hitting balls hard, and really happy with the offense and what they are doing right now, just being consistent and not overdoing things, but just having good at-bats, and then let the baseball guys take care of itself.
Right. And I guess just to close it out, men's basketball got a championship title today. What can you say about, getting to watch Scott Drew do his thing these last 6 years that you've been here?
Scott Drew has been one of a great friend to me, just because of his constant communication with me. We go out to eat, our wives and us go out to eat, and just a great man. And the way he goes about it, the way he does it, is such a class act. And I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for that basketball team. Everything they've gone through, the stress of coronavirus, the ups and downs, the starts and stops. Like it's really difficult, and that's just a great testament to him as a coach, keeping that team as consistent as possible, and that coaching staff and those players believing in themselves, believing in the coaches, believing in what they're trying to do here at Baylor, and it does not surprise me the success they had, knowing who Coach Drew is and the culture that he's creating on that team.
Can you just walk me through that home run after 5.5 scoreless innings? Y'all finally got something going.
Yeah, definitely. The first pitch, they brought in a righty. First pitch blew it by me a little bit. I think he had a little bit more in his fastball than he had anticipated. So after I missed that first fastball, swung through it.
Armstrong, you out there?
I just knew I had to get my foot down and made pretty good contact with it. And over the years, I've gotten a lot stronger and stronger each year. And this year, I feel pretty strong on the plate. So when I connect with the ball, it'll travel pretty good distance. But it felt great off the bat. I was in much need of a hit, and came out to be a big one.
Yeah, after the weekend, y'all had to have such a clean defensive game, and you had, almost two.
Armstrong, can you hear me?
I'm so sorry. I can't hear you.
Are you okay?
I am okay.
Just making sure you're alive there. We replayed a little bit more of that clip.
We did. It started to replay, and I was listening from afar, and I didn't realize I had restarted.
Wow.
It's on me.
Good thing we have you in studio this week. All right, I'm Drake Toll. It's Armstrong Sims. That was Coach and a couple of the players breaking down their win against Sam Houston State 4-0. Hopefully it gets the team back on track as they play Memphis, a series against Memphis starting this weekend. Today in Baylor sports, not just men's basketball at home against 17 Oklahoma State. Women's tennis is against TCU at noon o'clock, which probably already started. I should check the score on that. You know what? I can check the score on that right here, right now. Live stats, Baylor's up 1-0 against TCU at home. Baylor won the doubles point. I guess that's what that means. I think Baylor up 1-0 in women's tennis. And then also today, Thursday, March 4th, men's tennis at number 12, Wake Forest at 2 p.m. in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And softball at number 13, Louisiana, 6 p.m. game in Lafayette. So you get to tune into that one. At the same time, around the same time as the men's basketball game in Waco. I'm Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims. We're going to hit a break. When we come back, Andrew Robertson joins the show, breaking down his SicEm Pick'em for this week and talking a little bit more Baylor men's basketball to round out the show. This is Up Tempo.
Happy Thursday, Baylor Nation, and what a Thursday it is as we unapologetically remind you that both the Baylor men's and women's basketball teams are Big 12 champions. Across college hoops last night, number 10 Villanova took care of number 14 Creighton at home, 72-60. Number 11 Florida State hammered Boston College, 93-64. Syracuse aided their tournament resume with a 64-54 win over Clemson, and Missouri upset Florida on the road, 72-70. On the women's side, number 10 Indiana and number 20 West Virginia avoided upsets with wins over Iowa and Kansas State, respectively. And Creighton's men's basketball coach has offered to resign from the program after controversial comments recently, while the SEC has announced that the league will allow 20% capacity, or 3,400 fans, for the conference tournament. In volleyball, number 6 Baylor battled back from down 2-0 to number 2 Texas last night to force a fourth set, but lost the lead late and eventually fell in Austin 3-1. Yassiana Presley finished with 13 kills, Lauren Harrison added 16, and Marika Vandermark finished with 12 and 5 blocks. In golf, Baylor men finished 11th at the Cabo Collegiate, with the women finishing 11th as well at the Gamecock Intercollegiate. And number 3 Baylor men's basketball hits the court again tonight against number 17 Oklahoma State in the Farrell Center for just their 5th home conference game. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new Lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive at 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Engel with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like instant issue debit cards free at all of our banking centers, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Waco Custom Marketplace is your home for holiday favorites for parties and the time with family. Various specials available in-store and online. A variety of steak gift boxes with 4 ribeyes for $70, 4 bacon wrap fillets for $55, or 4 New York strips for $50, and all come with steak butter. Fall snack box for watching a game or wrapping presents or hosting people at your house, including summer sausage, split horn, and jalapeno cheese and salted crackers for only $35. 2 pieces of lobster tails with herb butter and 2 bacon wrap fillets for $60. Order online or call in advance to ensure availability, or drop by Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. Waco Custom Marketplace has a full-service butcher shop for customized orders or cuts of your favorite steaks or beef tenderloin or specially ordered prime rib roast. Plus, what you want with pork, poultry, seafood, and more. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio. Here's Drake Toll.
Welcome back to the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den remote. College basketball is happening across the nation today. Right now, Kennesaw State and Liberty. It is all Kennesaw State, 21-18 with 2 minutes and 43 seconds left in the first half, and Massachusetts is running away with their game against St. Joseph right now. Score 74-43 with 15 minutes left in the game. Wild. Andrew Robertson's about to hop in here. Rob, breaking down his Sick'em Pick'em today. Jeez, bless me. Armstrong, I want to get your thoughts, okay, on the Baylor men's basketball game tonight. We had score prediction from JD. I gave my score prediction. I froze for a second. What is your score prediction for tonight?
I would say, I was talking to JD about this. I don't know if I have a score prediction. I haven't really thought about that, but I would say Baylor comes out hot, fired up, but then kind of loses steam late in the second half. But still pulls out a win by about 8.
8. Okay. So Baylor goes up by 7 at halftime.
Yeah, and then pulls away probably by like 12 or 13 halfway through the second half, and then Oklahoma State makes a comeback once Baylor starts to get kind of gassed. But Baylor holds on. So that's about how I see the flow of the game going.
Kind of like the Texas game. Baylor's going to be up at halftime. Oklahoma State ended up taking a 2-point lead with like 13 minutes to go. And you're like, this is fun. And then Baylor ends up, up by 3 or 4 with 5 minutes to go. And then, just ends up winning it by 8.
Yeah, that's about how I see it going.
Okay. How does Cade Cunningham do?
Like I was saying earlier, I think Cade Cunningham could drop 25 and we'd still be fine.
Oh,
what was it, yeah. Morgan Uber who said that actually when he does when he scores less, his team is like 12-1 or something.
Really?
Someone on our show gave us that stat, that when Cade Cunningham actually doesn't score very well, his team is almost undefeated because he can have an effect in multiple ways. So I see Cade Cunningham scoring a lot as actually kind of a good thing.
All right. Well, Cade Cunningham scores 50 tonight, and Baylor wins it 96-50. All right. 100-69 final score. A-Rob, Andrew Robertson joining the show. A-Rob, what is your prediction for tonight's game?
What's up, guys? I haven't used Skype in a long time, so I'm figuring it out. But so for tonight, I think the spread is what, 12?
Yep, it is 12. Unbelievable.
I don't know if Baylor can cover that kind of number. I'm more thinking like a 77-71 type game tonight. I think it's going to be close down the stretch.
The under? You're taking the under?
77-71 is the under?
Yep, 148.5.
Oh, wow, I'm right there. All right, 78-71.
The over.
Yeah, the over.
I like the over tonight. I really do. I think 83-75 is very reasonable. 83-77, somewhere in there. I think the over hits, not by a ton, but I think we'll get it for sure. I just think in the end the over hits. Maybe it's a 60-60 ball game with 5 minutes to go, and it takes a little bit of oomph in that last run to hit the over. But Baylor's done that a lot this season, where they're a little bit slower. Baylor's not the best first half team. You know, they really look at the first Oklahoma State game where they were down at halftime. Look at the Auburn game where they were right there at halftime. I mean, there have been a couple of these where Baylor, you're like, hey, what are you doing? But I think the over ends up hitting in the end. But SicEm Pick'em today, Rob, what are you liking across the board in college basketball?
Well, today is the best basketball day in a long time between the mid-major tournaments and just the top 25 matchups. Here's a weird one to start. I think I like Michigan State to cover the 12 against Michigan. I think that game's going to be closer than Michigan State's record reflects. They've been hot recently. Michigan's coming off that atrocious loss to Illinois, so that one definitely sticks out to me. What are your thoughts on that?
I like I'm looking right now at shot quality predictions, which is kind of where I get most of my picks nowadays. They run really good analytics over there. And I mean, yeah, you know, my gut says go with it, but also I think it's going to be tight. I think Michigan ends up winning it by 9 or 10, but I think you're right. I think you're still pretty safe with a plus 12 on that one. I feel very similar between that and the Baylor game. I think Baylor is going to win it by 8 or 9. I think 12 is kind of outrageous, but yeah, I hold that about like the Baylor game. I don't think Michigan State, no way I'd take a money line on that one, but I like it.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a closer game than the analysts in Vegas thinks, and I think we can capitalize. I think the over-under being 140, I think that 140 seems low because of Big 12 basketball, but I think that might be high for Big 10 basketball. These teams are not scoring a ton. Michigan only put up 53 their last game, and Michigan State's last game, they only put up 64, and they won. These teams do not usually combine for around 140, so I think that might be a solid underplay, as much as I don't want to root for the under.
I think you could hammer the under in the Radford-Campbell game. Over under 125, I don't even think it's getting there. Two very low-scoring teams. I like Campbell a lot. I think both of these teams are going to try to keep it low-scoring because this is pretty sure it's one of those Survivor advanced games between Campbell and Radford. I love Campbell right now. Campbell's really good against the spread this season, or they've been good for me at least. So, yeah, I probably like Campbell in an upset, in a moneyline upset.
The Fighting Camels. Such a great mascot.
It is. It's a good one.
And I love that it's a tournament game. Big South tournament. So there's a little more stake on the line here. The Fighting Camels got to pull this one out.
Medium rare. Outside of that, Ryder Armstrong? No, please don't. Can't do that one. Cannot do that one. I like so you got Monmouth and Ryder. Monmouth 5-point favorites. I like a Monmouth money line in that one. George Mason. You know, I've been kind of watching George Mason and George Washington, both of those teams here a little bit lately. I kind of like George Washington on a plus 7.5 tonight.
The George Washington Colonels.
Yeah.
Another tournament game, Atlantic 10 tournament. These tournament games can go either way. I love at the end of the season when you get to watch all these tournaments and all these teams are all fighting for that one spot into the real tournament. And you like George Washington here, the 5-11, 11 seed George Washington?
Yeah, I like them plus 7.5. I've been high on George Washington since they beat Rhode Island outright in their first game back from a COVID break. So I don't know. I've kind of liked those guys. They want a place in my heart. I think Florida Atlantic beats Middle Tennessee by more than 8.5. I love them minus 8.5. SIU against Bradley. SIU 2.5 point favorites. I don't know, man. I don't know.
You like SIU. You've taken SIU frequently on this radio show. Are you going to turn your back on the boys tonight?
That's a good point. The Salukis. I'm going to go Salukis all the way tonight. I'm going to go Salukis all the way. You've got, like we talked about, Michigan State, Michigan. I like Michigan State plus 12. Over under at, I'm going to go under. I think you had to hammer the under on that one.
Yeah, 140 seems like a lot.
Especially after Michigan against Illinois. I think they're going to try to keep it a little bit more low scoring, play more defense in this one. Manhattan. Yeah. What do you think about that one tonight?
That's wild. I think it's got to be forever since Texas and Oklahoma have both been ranked top 20 in basketball and have played with this much stake on the line this close to the end of the year. Honestly, I think I'm going into this game blind right now. I'm going to take whoever is the home team, and Oklahoma is the home team. So I'm going to take Oklahoma. It's basically a pick 'em. They're -2. So, I mean, the money line's -130. I think this game's going to be close. I actually probably would have chosen Oklahoma anyway. I think Texas isn't – I like Oklahoma. I can only say that.
Yep. I like Oklahoma to win that one tonight. Texas Tech, Iowa State. I am loving Iowa State plus 17 tonight. I just don't know that Texas State has it in the Texas Tech has it in the guns to beat them by 17. I think it ends up being like 78 to 65, I mean, that's still a blowout. So Vanderbilt Cincinnati. What do you think about Vanderbilt Cincinnati?
Vanderbilt Cincinnati. Is that a tournament game?
No, it's just a random game.
Interesting. Vanderbilt Cincinnati.
I know. I don't know anything about it. It's tough to judge teams between conferences, but
yeah, I mean, I was gonna say SEC versus what is the clown league called? The AAC.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't heard anything about Vanderbilt. Cincinnati's 7.5 point favorites. Where's this game being played? It's being played in Cincinnati. Vanderbilt's 1-7 away, while Cincinnati's 5-4 at home. So the spread's 7.5. I guess I'd probably take Cincinnati there. Vanderbilt's not very good at any sport, for that matter. Maybe that's some
baseball.
Baseball. You're right. Baseball. Right. So I don't really want to talk about baseball though. Baylor
Guess who's really, really bad on the road?
Vanderbilt.
And I mean really pretty bad on the road. The University of Texas, El Paso. They are 17-point dogs against Kansas. At Kansas. They're 2-8 on the road. UTEP's going to get jacked tonight by KU. Who are these people and why do they? That is such a lock for me. Kansas.
Oh, really?
-17? Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas is coming off that win at Baylor. They have had ample rest since that game. Ample. That's a word.
Yeah, it is. It's a good word.
That's a word.
$5 word.
2-8 away. Kansas 12-1 at home. I mean, what is it? 17. I think Kansas probably covers that number.
Iowa, Nebraska. I think I like Iowa -17.5. Nebraska's just not very good. Luka Garza. I like the over in that one at 153.5. The problem is going to be, can Nebraska flip and score? That's the question.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be an issue for Iowa to cover -17.5. There was a couple in here that I liked. There was one that I really, really liked that I had yesterday. Murray State, Jacksonville State. That's going to be a tight game. I think I like Jacksonville State, maybe not a money line, but +3. That's in Evansville. So it's another tournament game. OVC championship winner. Oh, the quarterfinal. It's quarterfinal. OVC championship quarterfinal. Yeah.
The championships are intense. You said we're talking about the Murray State Racers.
We are.
Wonderful. In the Ohio Valley tournament. I mean, Murray State, I remember when they went to the tournament with John Morant. Is my memory serving me correctly?
I think your memory is serving you very correctly.
Yeah, I mean, just for that reason alone, I kind of like Murray State. Maybe that's recency bias.
Recency bias. How about Liberty right now and Kennesaw State are tied? Liberty's a much better team than Kennesaw State in the ASUN Championship quarterfinal. Crazy stuff happens, man. March is mad, as the kids say.
I love that there's games going on all day. UMass St. Joseph's in the classic matchup. Tulsa, Northeastern State. All these games are just thrown at us, and I love it.
I'm trying to find the NCAA. Oh, the NCAA game got canceled. Well, that's a bummer. I was really looking forward to watching North Carolina A&T play today. Give me TCU plus whatever they are. I think they're 12-point dogs.
In Morgantown?
Yeah, West Virginia likes to keep things close for some stupid reason. That's just kind of how they've been. They've trended that way this year.
I know it. That Baylor game.
Yeah, no kidding. We saw it firsthand.
Yeah.
What's up?
Well, I don't know if you touched on this breaking down the game, but West Virginia had, at the end of regulation, West Virginia had 31 free throw shots to Baylor's 10. Or maybe 12. It was unbelievable. That game was so hard to watch. And they drilled their free throws, but I'm on my soapbox right now.
Last couple here that you want to hit in the SicEm Pick'em before we hit a break and come back with celebrity birthdays.
I think we covered all the big ones, all the top 25s that are worth talking about. I think as far as locks are concerned, I hate to say it, but I think my lock is probably Oklahoma State to cover.
Yeah, I think my lock is Oklahoma on a money line at home. I love Oklahoma tonight at home. Lon Kruger, I think they just get it done. It's our time down here. Name the movie.
That's got to be before my time.
It's The Goonies. That is before your time. It's The Goonies.
Yeah, I should have known that, to be honest.
Yeah, you probably should have. It's a really good movie. I want to find this Vanderbilt game, but it's slipping me on the shot quality picks. But I'm interested in the Vanderbilt Cincinnati game. I may watch a little bit of that one. But Andrew Robertson, Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims is in the void today. When we come back, we're doing celebrity birthdays in this day in sports history. We'll be right back on Up Tempo.
Happy Thursday, Baylor Nation, and what a Thursday it is as we unapologetically remind you that both the Baylor men's and women's basketball teams are Big 12 champions. Across college hoops last night, number 10 Villanova took care of number 14 Creighton at home, 72-60. Number 11 Florida State hammered Boston College, 93-64. Syracuse aided their tournament resume with a 64-54 win over Clemson, and Missouri upset Florida on the road, 72-70. On the women's side, number 10 Indiana and number 20 West Virginia avoided upsets with wins over Iowa and Kansas State, respectively. And Creighton's men's basketball coach has offered to resign from the program after controversial comments recently, while the SEC has announced that the league will allow 20% capacity, or 3,400 fans, for the conference tournament. In volleyball, number 6 Baylor battled back from down 2-0 to number 2 Texas last night to force a fourth set, but lost the lead late and eventually fell in Austin 3-1. Yasiana Presley finished with 13 kills, Lauren Harrison added 16, and Marika Vandermark finished with 12 and 5 blocks. In golf, Baylor men finished 11th at the Cabo Collegiate, with the women finishing 11th as well at the Gamecock Intercollegiate. And number 3 Baylor men's basketball hits the court again tonight against number 17 Oklahoma State in the Farrell Center for just their 5th home conference game. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive at 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Danning with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like instant issue debit cards free at all of our banking centers, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Waco Custom Marketplace is your home for holiday favorites for parties and the time with family. Various specials available in-store and online. A variety of steak gift boxes with 4 ribeyes for $70, 4 bacon wrap fillets for $55, or 4 New York strips for $50, and all come with steak butter. Fall snack box for watching a game or wrapping presents or hosting people at your house, including summer sausage, split horn, and jalapeno cheese, and salted crackers for only $35. 2 pieces of lobster tails with herb butter and 2 bacon wrap fillets for $60. Order online or call in advance to ensure availability, or drop by Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. Waco Custom Marketplace has a full-service butcher shop for customized orders or cuts of your favorite steaks or beef tenderloin or specially ordered prime rib roast. Plus, what you want with pork, poultry, seafood, and more. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio. Here's Drake Toll.
Welcome back into the Pickell Low T Bears. Dan Remo, Drake Toll, Andrew Robinson today. 1:55 on the dot. Just 4 hours away from Baylor men's basketball against Oklahoma State, and it is time for celebrity birthdays. All right. Not gonna lie to you guys. If you're out there listening and you have a birthday today, I'm sorry. No one else has a birthday today. There is no one else with birthdays today. All right, this day in sports history.
That's it.
Actually, there are like 2. Draymond Green. How old's Draymond Green?
30.
Yep. Okay. Hey, Rob?
32.
31. Split it. Esther Dobrik, sister of Danny Dobrik.
Danny Dobrik or David Dobrik?
I don't know. I don't care.
One of them.
Who is Danny Dobrik?
Like the YouTube guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I don't know. 13?
Okay. Do we have a 13?
25.
She's 17 today. Split it.
Wow.
Split it again. Yep. Big birthday. Big day for the Dobrik family. Happy birthday,
Big
Esther. Happy birthday, Esther. Q Da Fool. The rapper. Rapper? I hardly know her. Q the Fool. Q Da Fool.
20.
That's a birthday?
Yeah, it's his birthday today. Armstrong says 20.
Q Da Fool.
Q Da Fool. I don't know. 29.
Q Da Fool is 24 today. Splitting it again.
Wow. I was
Catherine O'Hara. Or O'Hara. Catherine is in Schitt's Creek. She's the wife in Schitt's Creek.
Okay. 50.
Yep. Okay. Hey, Rob?
I think I'm going to say she's
44.
She's a little older than that.
67. She's a little older. She's got a young voice. 50.
Young voice.
Ha Seok Jin, TV actor, obviously. Ha Seok Jin. His birthday is today.
Ha Seok is clearly 47.
Oh, geez. He is offended.
I think he's like 24.
Gosh, splitting them again. 39 years old today for Ha Seok Jin. When I told you there were no birthdays today?
Yeah, okay. Right. Just go on to sports history.
You were right.
Armstrong, guess what happened today?
What happened today?
Guess what happened today in sports history?
What happened today in sports history? I don't know.
The 8th Grand National. William
Taylor. Of course it did.
Outsider Pioneer wins by 3 lengths from Culverthorpe. In what year? Yeah, this is tough. If you don't get this right, you're fired. Everybody's fired. The show implodes. We have to have enough sports knowledge to know when the 8th Grand National was, especially when we've already gone through like 17 other Grand Nationals.
What sport is it?
Exactly.
Okay. I got a lot to work with here. I'm going to say 1869.
Nice.
Oh,
Armstrong?
Wow. That it's got to be, I'm trying to think. It's got to be 1820. 1836.
Twitter's blowing up right now. Twitter is blowing up. 1846. The folks are not happy, Bob.
That was kind of close, honestly.
Yeah, you were kind of close. I should know that.
The New York Yankees are the first team to train outside of the United States. They did some training in Bermuda. In what year?
Training in Bermuda. Okay.
Yeah, that's what you want to call it.
Oh, vacation. Yeah. All right. 2011.
Armstrong?
2017.
1913. Babe Ruth becomes the highest paid player in MLB history when he signs a 3-year, $70,000 per year contract with the New York Yankees. In what year?
Big money.
Yeah.
Maybe like 1920s, 1910s. I don't know. I don't know when Babe Ruth is. 1923. Final answer.
Okay. Armstrong?
1927.
What?
There's no way.
There's
no way.
Alive. Yeah, it's 27. 1927.
Really?
Babe Ruth. I knew you would know it. And last but not
least,
least,
that up. I pulled that out of thin air.
Don Bradman is bowled for a rare first ball duck by Herman Griffith 4-50 on the last day of the 5th cricket test versus the West Indies in Sydney, Australia. Windies win by 31 runs, but lose the series overall 4-1 in the land down under. In what year? Don Bradman. That's your hint.
2007.
Oh. Okay. A-Rob, he's got a young voice.
That makes me think that he's kind of close. So I'm going to go with 2009.
1931. I'm Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims, Andrew Robertson. This has been Up Tempo today. Baylor men's basketball in 4 hours in the Farrell Center. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll break things down on a Friday. Happy Jersey Thursday, everybody. Again, we'll see you at 11 a.m. This has been Up Tempo.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jeweler, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.